everybody, and welcome to a dynamic wild ride with Steveo. We've got Fred Armisen. This guy isn't just dynamic, he's incredible. He does it all. Music, acting, comedy, the impressions. My lord, at the end of this episode, is he going to blow your mind with the impressions. He's going to take you all over South America, and it's just really remarkable. He's a fan of mine, which is super epic. He loves Jackass, and he might have destroyed Portland. I'm not going to say he's responsible for all of the terrible things that happened in Portland, but you're just going to have to judge that for yourself. It's juicy. It's crazy. This guy's insanely talented and hilarious. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we're ready to dive right in?
All right, great.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Armisen.
Hi, hello.
Yeah, dude.
How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for joining us in our humble van.
I was impressed with it. From the outside, it looked really great. And I always wondered, well, hey.
What happened to our sign? You know what?
It was green. That's all right. I don't mind it like that. Oh, there we go. Maybe it's when you shut the phone.
Okay.
We were just saying earlier that we met in Vancouver. I thought it was Seattle for some reason, but you're right. It's for Just for Laughs.
Yep, Just for Laughs. You had a show at the Vogue Theater, as did Whitney Cummings and me.
Yes.
We all played the same theater. I think we all sold it out, and we all had a blast.
Yeah. Because I think... Yeah, that's how they scheduled it for Just for Laughs.
Yeah.
Like we were just there for a while. It was a nice place, too.
Such a big deal for me to have been embraced by Just for Laughs. You know, like...
Yeah.
I get not a lot of love from the entire comedy community for having crossed over from my Jackass stuff into stand-up.
Is that true?
Maybe I'm sensitive and I perceive it more than it is.
Yeah, I think that's a perception. I think that I'm sure that's not the case.
I definitely care passionately about putting on a great show.
Yeah.
And I'm authentic in my approach to my comedy. And it meant a lot to be at Just for Laughs to me.
I would say also, I would say that I think Jackass isn't something that's like... separate from stand-up comedy. I feel like in general in the comedy community, not that you need me to tell you this, but I think it's generally like very accepted and
well, thank you.
Did you feel that way when you went from music to acting?
Yes, but I wasn't as huge as Jackass. Jackass is like a major part of life, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when you got into television and film, it wasn't like, oh, here, look at this musician's over here.
Yeah, no one was like, oh, how come you're not going to play drums? You know,
right?
We just weren't. We didn't have enough of an impact for it to make a difference, really.
Yeah.
Did you bring your music talents and performance into Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, even in my audition, I had timbales, you know, like the Tito Puente, those metal drums. In my audition, I had those, and then the first time I was on, I had them, and for this character, and then all the way through, it's almost like I would just work it into a sketch that I was playing drums or guitar or something. It's almost like a crutch or something, and not like a crutch like in a bad way, like I didn't know what else to do. It's just that that's just what came most easily to me.
Did you have to audition for Saturday Night Live?
Oh yeah, big time.
Did you do your impersonations? Was that the main one? And then you incorporate that with your drumming too?
Yeah, so it was like they asked me to do impressions and then some characters. So I did that at a club. They all show up and I do it at this club. So it was 2 impressions, 2 characters, and then I did it again at the studio of SNL.
Yeah.
And that's the part I couldn't believe was even happening. For me to even be in that room was insane.
What impressions did you do for the audition?
I did Sam Waterston from Law and Order and Vin Diesel. So Sam Morrison was one that I'd been doing anyway, and then Vin Diesel was more like, I thought, oh, I should think of someone really famous so that at least, I'm not doing it just anyone to, whatever, like. Just,
I was going to ask you which Vin Diesel did you do, but he's the same in every movie he does. It's like Keanu Reeves.
I did it just for the audition. I was like, okay, I'll try to learn him. And there's a thing he does with his mouth, there's this kind of quality to the shape of his skull or something that I thought, I think I could handle that. So I just did it quick enough that it didn't have to be like,
Am I clear that you're attributing the way Vin Diesel speaks to the shape of his skull?
Yeah. I think there's a way that it just reverberates or something that, It's not a put down of it. I mean, he's got a great skull, but I just think but I think there's just something in there like that,
Sure.
Did you walk out of that audition thinking you killed it?
There's a sort of line of auditioners, just a few, and someone called me back from the staff of SNL. Like, can I talk to you for a minute? And that, I knew something was up.
Yeah.
I was like, I think something's starting to happen. Just because she had some questions. And someone asking questions is a little bit like engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
I was like, something's about to happen. And then later that day they called me and I knew my life was going to change, and then it did. I was like, I think my life's going to be really different now, and then it did turn out that way.
That's rad.
That's when you had a landline. You got to stay around your landline all day. 'Cause you're like, fuck.
It was 2002, and I did have a cell phone, but it was one of those like Nokia ones. And we should mention Nokia.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to the snake.
The ones that looked like almost like an egg.
Yeah,
a black egg with the bottom that's kind of flat.
Uh-huh.
I don't think there was any texting back then.
I think there was.
You had to like hit three times and two.
I think I didn't know how to do that yet, or I wasn't like some people were really good at that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Saturday Night Live. I think of you more as the Portlandia guy than Saturday Night Live. So which one do you think you're most known for?
It depends where I go, but in a way, Portlandia, because it's more of my signature.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, it's more of...
Sketch.
More sketch that was, like, where me and Carrie are the main people. But you never know. I mean, sometimes, I'll go to some place and they'll just say SNL. So it just depends. But Portlandia is more, like, focused. That's, like, a more focused... So if someone recognizes me, that's more, like...
and it's yours.
And it's more mine, yeah.
Right.
Is it true they try to blame the like rising real estate prices in Portland to your show because everybody wanted to move there? And
yeah, I guess it's hard to tell, because like even if somebody said that, I don't know if that's how everybody thinks.
Yeah.
But
because they had billboards that said, home of Portlandia, and thinking all the locals were.
I'm sure people weren't excited to see stuff like that. People get, I suppose, protective of where they live.
Yeah.
If someone made a show about this part of LA, I guess just. But I still don't know that like a TV show. We were a little cable show.
Yeah.
Can really affect real estate. I don't think that's
right.
We had that much power, but whatever. The show's done and Portland as a city has moved on, so who knows?
On.
Yeah, they did a show about heroin and methadone on the street.
Right.
It's like they blame you for that too.
It's funny that like how fast time goes though. Like that, that show would be in a discussion like that, and then years later, it's just like a newspaper page turning.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I worked on a movie there. I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or something. And the girl who was working was young, was like, signing me in for whatever, I guess for COVID tests. So I guess it was like 3 years ago. Was like, have you ever been to Portland before? So in my ego, I'm like, okay, I'm back,
Mm-hmm.
and then to her, that's how fast, I don't mean to explain how fast time goes, but you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I don't know. In your ego, you're like to the center of this, like,
Yeah, of course.
this thing, and then
For sure.
But in regular life, people are like, we could care less. She clearly hadn't even heard of the show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's Portland that is the only place in America that has decriminalized all drugs, right? Like,
Is that
I did
true,
hear
or
about
did they
that.
do
Wait,
that? Like,
decriminalized heroin and
I think
crystal
heroin,
meth.
Yeah.
crystal meth, the
Whoa.
whole deal. Like,
yeah,
I
that
think,
case study's not doing very well.
Right, I think that they've
Whoa.
like decriminalized it, if not just legalized
Well,
it.
I saw yesterday
thing.
that New York City was putting out vending machines that you can go and get a crack pipe, you can go get like tinfoil syringes,
God.
Wow.
and like somebody was posting that, and it was pretty.
Now, what do you
impressive.
think the reason behind that is to like stop the crime rate?
Yeah, like it's probably like that sort of Dutch, ideology
Right, what
of
worked-
like we're just going to decriminalize
Yeah.
everything. Although I don't know what their laws really are, but I think that's probably like a version of it.
We were there at the beginning of this year, and it was just alarming. It was truly alarming. Just everywhere you looked, people were
Yeah.
holding lighters under tinfoil and
In broad daylight too,
broad
like
daylight,
not
just
even
in-
trying to hide
Is this
it.
Portland you're saying?
Portland.
Yeah.
Portland.
That's the way it was when I was there in the 90s. I went through when I was in a band, and people would say, like, it's a kind of a druggy place. Sure enough, exactly like you described. Or just lighting, like, little pipes and stuff right
Yeah.
in front of the Satyricon where we were playing.
Yeah.
What
like,
band?
like daytime.
What band was that you were with?
Trenchmouth.
Trenchmouth, yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
So, yeah. I mean, it was a great city, but it was that was the headline when we showed
Yeah,
up.
I wish it was. I mean, I love Portland. It's probably like top 3 favorite cities, minus all the crime, because it's such a beautiful. I love
gorgeous.
the weather. I love how all the buildings are stacked up on the river right there. And
Yeah, I still have a place there I go all the time, or frequently, but there are parts of it that are beautiful, and also I go to other cities and there's like LA has some pretty
Yeah.
messed up areas.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just downtown. I mean, all over the place, and San Francisco, obviously.
Hollywood's
Hollywood is
pretty terrible.
Crazy.
Is intense.
Yeah.
Hollywood is like, I drove down recently, and there's people who are face down. You know what I
For
mean? Like
sure.
their whole body is like on the ground
Yeah.
with their feet
Yeah.
facing up, like not just messed up, but just like flat out.
They had to remove some of the porta potties in Hollywood because people were just constantly ODing in there.
Oh my god.
You know?
Yeah. I just don't know how that works. I don't have any answers. I don't know. Like
Right.
I don't know
And it's crazy because like you hear stories of Hollywood in the 40s and 50s, and it was like clean everywhere, and
Yeah.
you're walking around where all the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame are, and like that's where people used to take for like a nice restaurant and like go
Yeah.
see a show, and
Yeah.
it's like this place where there's tents set up and the ladies
Yeah.
pissing in broad day. It's crazy.
Yeah. Where do you live? Or where you?
I live by Universal Studios.
Okay.
And
So you
then-
get to.
Yeah, but I grew up in Pasadena, and it like, I mean, it's crazy because some places got better, some places got worse. I remember when I grew up, like Highland Park was like a no-no, and but property values were like 80, 90,000.
Yeah.
And now there's $1.6 million houses, and you're like, man, in high school, like the Bigfoot Lodge, you couldn't go down there.
So they called it a no-no.
They're just like be careful because like it's a rough neighborhood, all by Dodger Stadium, the whole area. Now it's like getting gentrified, and you see people walking around.
That's so funny. When I grew up in New York, I just interrupted you. You're about
Oh,
to.
no,
ask-
it's fine. It's all good. I actually have a weird satisfaction in being interrupted because it's been so important to me to improve my conversational etiquette and not interrupt people, let them speak. I think I've been getting a lot better, and that's very satisfying, but nowhere near as satisfying as taking a very complete and healthy dump with my squatty potty. What makes it a complete and healthy dump if you're pooping with your feet on a squatty potty? It's because that raises up your knees, it gets your body in a position which is the same as squatting. And that's how we were intended as human beings to poop, is squatting. We were not supposed to sit on toilets. That's not our DNA. And when we're squatting, then all of our plumbing is in the right position for a complete evacuation. That's why it's just plain healthier to use a squatty potty. And if you go to squattypotty.com/Stevo, you can get 20% off your order. Now, to be clear, I've been using this product as long as I've lived in this house, which is just about an entire decade. So I've been a loyal customer long before I was in a business relationship with this company. I'm proud to represent them. I implore you to take healthier dumps. So one more time, go to squattypotty.com/Stevo to enjoy 20% off your order and much more satisfying and complete dumps. Now, let's get back to it.
I was just going to say, I'll make this really quick. It's not even that exciting. But when I grew up in New York on Long Island, same thing. There was a no-no area, which was anywhere below Avenue A. So they're like, you do not go below Avenue A. You were just...
What district is that?
That's like Lower East Side. So there's like the Village, and then as you go, there's like First Avenue. As the numbers get lower, then it starts going Avenue A, Avenue B. That was like, even saying I went to Avenue B was like, oh, that was a war zone.
And that's like in the 90s?
80s.
80s?
Yeah.
What was it like taking the subway in the 80s in New York? It was like,
exciting. It was exciting because you really felt like, oh, I'm really in the city, because it was noisy, like something about it like really felt like I'm not in the suburbs anymore.
Yeah, I always feel like it's a TV show, like, the gangs are walking on one end and the other, and they're meeting up to fight or something like that. It wasn't like that.
No, I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
As a punk rock musician, I mean, it just feels counterintuitive that you were this prolific punk rocker when you seem so soft-spoken, mild-mannered. Like, what, were you different in Trenchmouth? Were you like a tough guy?
No. It's the kind of punk rock that I grew up on was the kind of soft-spoken punk rock. So, like, Hugh Cornwell of the Stranglers or Captain Sensible, even Mick Jones, even though they had, strong accents, I felt like they came up with sweet melodies and were like there was something sweet about them and positive. Even Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo he's kind of soft-spoken. David Byrne, who I'll put in the punk category, is like a soft-spoken guy. So somewhere in there, I found like a voice of punk rock that resonated with me.
You know who else I think is very soft-spoken? Perry Farrell.
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bob Mould too, like when he talks, is just...
do we consider Elvis Costello to be punk?
Yes, I do.
And is he kind of...
Yeah, and he's like brainy.
Yeah.
He's brainy in his own way, soft-spoken. That's always a good discussion, like who people consider to be punk, but then I try to do the evidence. I try to think, well, he produced the specials. He was like one of the first people, Elvis Costello to be on American TV and stuff, representing punk. So I always think like that. That's definitely a punk.
Yeah. Do you, if I were to ask top 5 punk albums of all time?
Top 5 punk albums of all time. I would go Sandinista by The Clash. I would go Dig Me Out by Sleater Kinney. I would say New Day Rising by Husker Du. Then I would say Eye Against Eye. Bad
Yes,
Brains.
I was going to say that.
Right.
Thank you. I didn't want to sound dumb, but I was like, can I get Eye Against Eye? I'm so amazed that you said that.
I mean, they might...
Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye.
Bad Brains might just be the greatest punk band.
Man.
Like,
I
every
love
time
that
you hear
said
the Bad
that.
Brains, you're just like, that's like above everything else. No matter how much I love all these other bands, they're... and I was going to say number 5, The Damned, the Black Album. But, yeah, Bad Brains, what... Don't they deserve, like... a Nobel Peace Prize or something, or they
Yeah.
deserve and something bigger than the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Someone's got to come up to them. Like, I can't. I wonder what that was like for them to start. Like,
Right.
completely, just sort of isolated and just getting into this scene. I don't know.
Who would you say are your top 5 albums?
I had a lot of influence with like the New York straight edge hardcore.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm gonna like probably lean into the Gorilla Biscuits a little bit there.
Yeah.
That first Gorilla Biscuits, it was an EP, but
They're
I just
great.
think
Yeah.
the Big Mouth and Hold Your Ground, all that, like, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So,
Gorilla
now,
Biscuits. I think like they just recently got back together or something, or like they recently did something.
they've done some nostalgia Gorilla Biscuits
Yeah.
touring.
Where does Fugazi land?
Fugazi's
They're way up there.
They're
just
that was it the 13 songs album
13
that had
songs.
Waiting Room on it.
Yeah.
That I think that would make my top 5.
Did you open for Fugazi?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
How were those shows?
Oh, incredible.
I mean-
and then also you learn about like what bands are like as people. So as we got to know Fugazi, there's like a, not rock star way of doing things. Nothing wrong with people acting like rock stars. That's fine. But we liked as an example of them not asking for too much from the world. They just
Right.
wanted to play a show and that was it. They wanted to play their music and they weren't talking about, how they're going to do their next video and who they're opening for. It was just a sort of, they were happy where they were, and that's like a nice thing to see.
They insisted on keeping their ticket prices at no more than $10.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, back then it was $5. They had $5 door price, and I'm sure it.
Yeah, there's
had to go up.
that interview with Nirvana back in the day when they were talking about how some of these bands are charging like $50, $60, $70 for concert tickets, and they're like, who's charging that?
They said Madonna.
Madonna.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you kidding me? I know they kept it at like $5, $10.
Yeah.
So did you ever tour around with see Nirvana in the mix in the 90s?
No. We missed it.
Yeah.
We were sort of not in that scene, and plus they were so huge. It's so funny that back then Madonna was like the biggest reference point of success. That Madonna always just came up with, that would be like, otherwise you're gonna be like a Madonna, or nothing against Madonna. I'm just saying that it was just funny that like in the same way that we say like Taylor Swift today,
Yeah, Swiftie.
Yeah.
Madonna was like the reference point of success.
you're acting like
more
a
than,
prima
more than
donna.
Michael Jackson. Yeah,
I wonder.
I think you're younger than me. You must be.
I am. I was born in 1974.
Oh yeah, you definitely are. I'm born in 1966.
Yeah.
When you said Gorilla Biscuits, I was like, oh, I see where you are.
Yeah.
You guys both spent some time in Brazil growing up.
What?
I spoke my first words in Portuguese in Rio de Janeiro at 6 months old.
What's the story?
I was born in England, and my family moved to Rio when I was 6 months, and moved to Venezuela when I was 2, Connecticut when I was 4. My dad worked for American multinational corporations.
What's the company that he worked for?
At the time, he worked for Pepsi. He was the president of Pepsi Cola Brazil.
That's incredible. My dad worked for IBM. That's
Okay.
why we were in Brazil. But for me, it was like 2nd and 3rd grade. And my mom is from Venezuela, so we were there
Wow.
a whole bunch of times. Wow.
I spoke Spanish in nursery school in Caracas, Venezuela.
To think that you've even been to Venezuela, it
Right.
blows my mind.
It's a sort of an embarrassing but funny fact that I learned to speak 3 languages fluently by the age of, I think, 3, and forgot 2 of them completely by the age of 5.
But that's so early that how can you...
Understood. And while that it's sad and depressing and kind of embarrassing, but also they say that by learning multiple languages, when you're very, very young,
Yeah.
that you develop more of your brain. So even though I lost those 2 languages, I arguably operate with more of my brain than had I not learned them.
Definitely.
And what's even more fascinating is that when I was in summer camp at the age of, I want to say 11 years old, there were some kids who spoke Portuguese at this summer camp. and they I woke up in the morning and they said, dude, like, I mean, they didn't say dude, but they were very excited, telling me that in my sleep I was speaking Portuguese. I have no, like...
It was in there somewhere.
Exactly. I have no access to it, but it's in there, and it came out in my sleep. Speaking
That's pretty
Portuguese.
incredible.
Yeah.
Wow, we've been to the same places, like, you know, years apart, but in our youth. Like,
Yeah.
that's so
I don't
crazy.
remember
That's really early.
Brazil or Venezuela.
Where in Brazil were you?
Rio de Janeiro.
Wow.
And I went to an American school there, and there were Brazilians there too, and every time we spoke English, the way they'd make fun of us is, you know, we'd be speaking in English, saying whatever, and then these kids would be like, that's how they made fun of our language. That's what it sounded like to them.
That's funny.
It's great.
At what age did you find out your dad was Korean and not Japanese?
Oh, recently, like maybe 5 years ago or something.
So your whole life you thought you were half Japanese?
Not half, a quarter. My dad is a quarter German. My dad is half German.
Yeah.
And half what we thought was Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that my grandfather had to fake his nationality when he lived in Japan. He's Korean, but he pretended to be Japanese because there was so much racism against Japanese people that he changed his name and everything.
It's
Isn't
so
that crazy?
to be indiscernible, you know, to have there be no way of telling apart but intense hatred.
Yeah.
It's
That's like...
it's crazy. That's like how crazy it was in Rwanda. And,
Yeah.
Why? What happened in Rwanda?
they had this, like, they split everybody into these two groups, but there was nothing different between these two groups.
What were they called? The Tutsis?
Tutsis and Hutus and Tutsis.
That's right, yeah. Hutus
There was
and Tutsis.
it was just like some crazy.
While you were there?
No, we were there in 2003 or 4, 2004, and they were like just amputees. Like it was gnarly. They had like 100 days of just genocide, and for no discernible difference between these people, and the hatred, crazy.
How does it happen? That's such a dumb question, but it's incredible that they're like this close, and then somehow, I mean, I understand there's differences in religion and stuff, but I'm always amazed, especially with that. You know, it makes me. You know what? More than anything, I feel ignorant. I'm like, I have no idea how all that stuff starts.
I mean, it stemmed from the Belgian occupancy of the country of Rwanda. They, you know, when it actually came to be, it was a propaganda thing with these like loudspeakers, like blasting, you know, on this day, this is going to happen, and it was just, it's crazy how people will, you know, can be influenced to do such awful things.
It's funny that they're never suspicious of loudspeakers, because loudspeakers they look so like propaganda.
Right.
They look like propaganda.
Oh my
And then
God.
people still follow it. It just looks like trouble.
Some things look like trouble, and some things just are trouble. Like all the plastic in the ocean, destroying the environment, killing the wildlife. It's got to stop. And you know who's stopping it? The good folks at Liquid Death. That's right. They put all of their healthy beverages, sparkling water, still water, flavored sparkling water, teas, all of it comes in infinitely recyclable aluminum cans. And did you know that like 70% of all aluminum gets recycled. Like the success rate for recycling aluminum is phenomenal, unlike plastic, which is destroying the world. And I'm just in love with this company. They've got all of their cans designed to look like beers. They love it when little kids get in trouble with their teachers because their teachers think they're drinking a beer. I mean, everything about this company, all of their social media, all of their merchandise, it's just punk rock as hell, and I love it. They're trying to save the world, and I want you to join us. So if you want to get 20% off of your first hilarious Liquid Death merchandise item, your first purchase, 20% off for the listeners of the Wild Ride podcast if you go to liquiddeath.com/Stevo. You can also get all of the healthy beverages on Amazon and from local retailers. Get on board with Liquid Death. I love them. I support them. And I think you should too. So one more time, liquiddeath.com/Stevo. And let's get back to it. I watched the show. I downloaded it on iTunes. It was came from A&E, was on iTunes, about the Jonestown Massacre.
Oh boy.
That was another example of loudspeakers doing terrible things.
That's right. That's right. Instructing them all. What a mess.
Oh my God.
Also, if you're in a position of power and you have to use loudspeakers, you should question yourself. Because I wonder if that guy, if Jim Jones was like, had a microphone, I was like, okay, everyone, I would be like, wait a minute, I became that cult leader or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you speak it to a mic and it's loudspeakers, I think it's...
and so, like, he was just loaded on drugs. Like,
yeah.
Like, just slurring into the loudspeakers. Like,
he killed himself too, right?
Yeah, but it was like, I think like maybe like a mass and slash murder, like of like 900 people drinking.
Was it Kool-Aid?
What do you call the cyanide? Yeah, they put cyanide in this knockoff Kool-Aid, and the people who drank the Kool-Aid, there's nothing peaceful about this cyanide death. They were like screaming in agony, like, and there was just all this pressure to do it, and having witnessed how much agony all of these people were in. Jim Jones, when it was his time to he shot himself. He didn't drink the Kool-Aid.
That's what the whole documentary is about?
Oh my God, it's so heavy. And it was like, people make jokes about Kool-Aid and, you know, drink the Kool-Aid. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it is heavy.
You know,
that's a lot, so many people. And
yeah.
Is that where that reference comes from? Drink the...
Yeah, for sure.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid,
Yeah, drink the Kool-Aid is like, subscribe to the, you know, the crazy. Like,
I thought it was like the Kool-Aid Grateful Dead tour in the 70s, like every drink of acid.
Because that would be more like drink the Kool-Aid.
No, you want to drink. Yeah, you want to drink the Kool-Aid.
That Jonestown one was just deeply disturbing and super upsetting. It was not a mass. It was way more of a mass murder.
So what? He had 900 people drink the Kool-Aid at the same time.
Yeah, and they started out with making the kids do it.
Whoa.
And then like, and it was just kind of understood that if you didn't make the kids do it and drink it yourself, that you were just going to be killed anyway. So just
because something was coming for them, right? It was like they're coming. Yeah. You got to do this before something like that.
Yeah.
Like maybe something was imminent.
Haley's Comet was coming.
No. That was the legitimately funny one, which was Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate was like pure
90,
comedy.
93, 92.
That was the one you bought merch for.
Yeah. As soon as I got done watching the Heaven's Gate documentary series on HBO, I went right on Amazon and bought myself a Heaven's Gate t-shirt.
Really?
Yeah, because that one was like, they're all wearing the same sneakers. They're all like neatly made up in the bed. Like, it was much more peaceful and like genuinely a suicide where people were just trying to get on the rocket ship, you know?
That's incredible.
The spaceship came to bring them to the special place.
How often does it happen then? Like every
92 years?
No. I mean like a mass suicide with a cult leader.
Ooh, I mean, if you count Waco and Jim Jones and Heaven's Gate, I think that those were pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we've had someone since then.
No, we haven't.
What decade was that? What were all those?
94 was
Jim
Waco.
Jones was 70s, right?
I think it might have been beginning of the 80s.
And then Waco's 90s.
Yeah, Heaven's Gate. Yeah, I don't know.
We don't have a new one.
Wait, man, we really went there. We really went there. I loved your stand-up comedy for drummers.
Oh, thanks.
On Netflix. And I love I love that you got the well-deserved Grammy nomination for that.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I'm psyched I got to do it. It was, targeted to musicians and drummers, and I can't. When I first did it, I didn't know what I was going to do. So the more I did drumming jokes, the more drive I had to do it. And then all of a sudden I had a special ready to go. I think when I did Vancouver, that show, I think I was doing some of it back then too. I'm pretty sure.
And what I particularly loved about that was that you had these vignettes. It was a multimedia comedy special.
Yeah.
And that's that's what I do. With my stand up, I film vignettes, super crazy high level jackass stuff that crosses the line of what would be allowed on Jackass. So it's my show's kind of a too hot for Jackass, extra crazy, forbidden stuff that you're going to see.
Like what? What would be something?
Like having medical professionals administer stolen general anesthesia drugs while I'm riding a bicycle.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what an epidural is?
Yeah.
Like becoming paralyzed while sprinting.
Oh, my legs just got shaky thinking about how...
Yeah, there's it's pretty, pretty ambitious, pretty scary, dangerous stuff, and then I that's my new tour. It's called the Bucket List Tour. It's not a new tour anymore. I'm getting ready to tape the special and wrap it all up.
Oh, great.
But the Bucket List stunts get, they're built into an act where I tell the stories and it's all set against the backdrop of my relationship and how these things had implications. Mm-hmm. And at the end of each bit, I pay it off by playing the video of the bit. So,
and when you go play places, what are the crowds like?
I think people. It's sort of a Jackass kind of
demographic
thing. I think Jackass has been largely defiant of demographics.
Yeah, so it's anybody. There's no physical look.
Yeah,
to someone who would.
I find that as I've become a multi-generational guy, that it's really alarming. I feel like Matthew McConaughey when he says, "I get older, they just stay the same age."
Yeah.
It's kind of shocking how young my audience.
Yeah.
Is and it ranges a lot.
But I feel like that happened this time around because everybody wanted to bring now those people have kids, and it's I don't care how old my kid is, I'm going to take him to go see Jackass Forever, and then you have this whole new influx of 8 to 15-year-olds that are going with their parents.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
But when you were touring with that show,
yeah.
Did you bring the vignettes with you on tour and play?
Yeah, there'd be a map if I do accents from around the country and stuff like that. But I don't know if you find this. Sometimes it's hard to get tech to work. So if you have a projector and a screen, sometimes it's not. Something goes wrong with it. So I rely on it not too much, but I do have an iPad to play music, and then once in a while on the screen I'll have a map of the states.
So the video vignettes from.
Yes, once in a while I'll have it. But I really have to make sure that okay, do they have a projector? Does it work? Can someone work it? Just because I don't have a big enough crew to have one person.
Yeah, what made the difference for us was part of the tech writer and part of the contracts. It said you must have this, you must have this, and if it doesn't work, then you are to refund everybody in the audience, and they will. And it has to be tested before we get there, and they do not want to refund everybody in the audience. You'll still get paid, but everybody gets their money back.
I wish I did that. Because I think my tone going in is always hey, whatever you have, great, we want to make this show work.
No.
And I think if you go in saying the AV has to work.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We've never had.
We haven't had that.
As you say that, I don't want to lean on it too much. I'm like, man, my show is like 100%.
I wish I had more.
That's all we lean on.
Well, because that happened to us in Colorado, and it was just like, how is this happening? And then it was like, well, why did this happen? And the guy had to go, they had to go buy a computer at Walmart the next day, and that wasn't. It was like
when you say this happened in Colorado, this happened in advance of the show, and it was fixed by the time the show happened.
No, you remember in Colorado, Denver, when we did that show, and half of your skits weren't working, and it was like we were losing our mind, and you're like, yeah, I would love to play this, but the fucking video's not showing.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't remember there ever being a show that it didn't end up working.
Yeah, you were so pissed, you fucking blocked it out of your brain like you're Portuguese. I mean, it was like I remember that too, because like it was fucking atrocious, and then it was like, okay,
wow, it sounds like we owe people refunds in Denver.
No, they got them, and it became a whole thing.
That they got the refunds?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so that's what happened.
Great.
What do you fill it with? I guess you just keep talking and...
Yeah. And yeah, Steve was so pissed. He's like, and this is the part of the show where the video goes in. And he just explained the video.
I would do more if I could.
That's an interesting statement. I would do more if I could. What if I could tell you that you can do more? No problem. And by do more, I mean be better in bed. Now, how do you do that? Yeah. You try Blue Chew tablets, which make you better in bed because they've got the same active ingredient as both Viagra and Cialis, except they cost only a fraction of the price. And if you think I'm kidding about do more, no, I'm not. You ask my lady. She loves it when I chew a Blue Chew tablet, and then about a half an hour later, we do our thing. And when you go to bluechew.com and use the promo code steveo, man, it's real easy to get your prescription because they've got the medical provider on the site. You sort that out, and you can get an entire month's supply of Blue Chew tablets completely for free. All you pay is $5 for shipping. So how about that? It's time to do more in the bedroom, and do it for free. Just pay $5 for shipping for that entire month's supply of Blue Chew tablets, completely for free, at bluechew.com with the promo code steveo. Jump on that deal, and let's get back to it. Yeah.
Or I should, because it's also I think the audience likes it.
I think so,
I think
too.
it's like, instead of looking at one person, they get to see a video, and you can, their mind can...
I think that it opens up so much. And for me in particular... it's like providing receipts. So many stand-ups kind of tell stories that are made up, or they're just so ridiculously embellished.
Yeah.
And in my case, I tell stories that are absolutely absurd, just implausible to the max, and then I play a video that proves it all to be completely true.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, I know that it's like a common thing, isn't it? People sort of exaggerate the story on stage.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do. There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's just a
Since
different.
the beginning of
Sure.
entertainment, I'm sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I loved that you did that with that special.
No, I loved it. Plus, I get a drum kit up there and a guitar and stuff. I think I just like having drums around. I like they look great. It makes the stage look for me like more full. I just like it.
How many instruments do you play? 'Cause I've seen you on guitar. I've seen you on drums.
Guitar, drums, and bass. That's it.
That's all Motley Crue plays, right?
Yeah, that's like most punk bands. That's the basic thing. Like I could do like a chord on piano and make it sound like a chord. But
Do you make your own music while you're at the house?
Just fake, parodies of other bands. That's
okay.
But no serious music of my own. Of like, now it's my turn to like. I'm not good at that. I'm good at making fun of genres, but that's it.
Yeah.
When you say parodies of other bands, do you ever go like full Weird Al?
No, not like that. Just because I think he's got all the real estate in that. But it's more like for this show documentary now, we did a fake like Eagles kind of band, like soft rock,
Uh-huh.
and then like a fake Talking Heads band. So stuff that's like a concept, like a
That's for the documentary Now series.
yeah.
And that's current right now.
yeah.
Man, so much fun.
Where
Yeah,
can people watch that?
IFC. I guess
IFC.
it's like AMC Plus or something.
Does that have a? So that's the streamer is AMC Plus.
Yeah, it's been. I think Netflix has it now, but we've been doing it for like 5 years or 6 years or something.
Yeah, that's you and Bill Hader.
That's correct. Yeah, and Seth Meyers writes on it. John Mulaney writes on it.
Yeah.
So
Are you affected at all by the writer's strike? Can you explain to me what's going on with that? Because I went to go drive to pick up my laundry and everybody's striking, but I don't know what change do they want to see.
I think it's residuals for streaming, where I think it's pretty high. I think for some occupations, and if you're on a show.
Yeah.
But I think the writers are still on an older contract.
Yeah. Okay.
And I used to, sometimes I go, oh, it's not affecting me. I'm still doing my thing. But I think that's wrong. It has affected me in that sometimes I play on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and the talk shows were the first to shut down. So it has affected me. I wasn't able to work. And so sometimes, because I like to think about work as not work, like, oh, I'm just getting to goof around with my friends. But then I was like, oh, no way, that's a real job that I have, that I'm not working at.
Seth Meyers is fantastic, man.
He is the best. He's a great person, brilliant writer. He's very fast, and he's pleasant.
Yeah.
He's great.
I loved his joke from his special about being a talk show host during the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
He was saying that, it's kind of like being a gravedigger during the plague. It's good for business.
yeah. It works great, but
It's good for business, but you
it's
don't
grim.
necessarily want it to be happening.
Yeah, he's great. And he writes on the show as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and so presumably you said you're home now.
Yeah.
And that's probably because of the writer's strike.
Yeah, I mean, although if I was working, I'd be. A lot of stuff shoots in LA, but yeah, that's because I'm not in New York because of that. Yeah.
Right.
But
So we met you out in front of your office. What kind of stuff do you do during the day in your office? Are you coming up with new ideas? Are you constantly just writing? Are you?
That's good for like Zoom meetings, right? Like it's an isolated place. I have had writer sessions there for stuff that me or my production company is pitching, and then my drums are set up there, so I could. During the pandemic, I would record drums there for Seth's show, and whenever I do my stand-up, I've got all this music equipment, so I just keep it there. So it's not at my house, so I've got to like go through like gentle little doors. This is like right here. It's like a warehouse, so I could load up a vehicle with all that stuff.
How much are you touring now with stand-up?
Medium amount. It's not. I did a tour last year. Was it? This year. It was like a week or two, and then coming up, I've got like one-offs. Like Arkansas, Amherst, Alaska. I'm going up to play there. So it's like those,
cool.
sort of like little leapfrogging.
When you go to Arkansas, are you gonna do your fantastic Arkansas impression and like, as opposed to like that's how you break down the different parts of the South?
I'm gonna try, but I want to like brush up on it, because if I do it as the whole country, that's a little easier because everything sounds so different. But if I go to Arkansas, I better get it right as far as like areas of Arkansas.
Yeah, I think that I heard you say that you had Arkansas like dialed in to the city, like one city to the next.
I say that if I'm on tour, for wherever I am. I just did some shows in Chicago, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do all the areas of Chicago, but I brush up on it before I go.
Right.
So it's not like it's instantly in my head. It's more like, let me make sure I have it right.
Well, it's like Little Rock would just be Bill Clinton, right? That's where he's from.
Yeah, but that's his is like a little more upper class sort of Little Rock.
And then you got a point like this.
Yeah.
Before him, presidents were doing this, and it was like offensive. And then they stopped doing that, and then they're like doing this, and it looked weird. So he found the middle ground, and that's why he was always...
That's good. It is gentle, isn't it?
It's not pointing, and it's not like a fist.
Yeah.
That's why he's like, no, I did not sleep with that lady. That's
like
Obama. I don't even know who that was.
That's good, though. You did a good job of it.
So,
imagine being a politician. You got to figure out a new thing to do with your hands.
Imagine being a politician and having to like lie all day. I feel like I feel like they're so good at answering questions. I mean, they must take a class in order to deflect to the best degree you possibly can.
It must also be there. It's probably a natural talent towards doing that, of like avoiding certain subjects. And can you imagine how polite you have to be all the time?
Yeah.
If you're a politician, no matter who comes up to you, you got to be like, yes, thank you. Oh, I heard about that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's like being a celebrity and like somebody comes up and talks to you at lunch and you're just like, yeah, have a seat. You're just like, all you want to do is fucking eat. But
if you're a politician, you can't say, I just want to eat.
No.
You got to put your sandwich down and...
You work for them.
You work for them. And or if they hand you like macaroni, you're like, oh, this is wonderful. Thank you. Your grandfather made this? Wow.
did you ever get a Donald Trump impression going?
No, it's not in my wheelhouse. Some people are so good at it that I'm like...
I saw recently on the Stern Instagram, they had there's these impersonator competitions. Really good Donald Trumps going at each other.
Were they professional or like underground? Like
I don't know, but they were good enough. It would be hard for me to imagine that they were not professional.
Do you have one?
I do not.
How do you know it's in your wheelhouse? I mean, it's like because you're good at other presidents, and then you're like, you try to do Donald Trump, you're like, nah, I can't do that.
It just comes to you. Like I was watching Joy Behar, and I thought, oh, I think I could do her. It's like a weird voice in your head that goes, where I go. It just occurs to me. So Sam Waterston from Law and Order, I was just watching him and I thought, oh, I think I could do it. That's how that all happens. It's just my brain nags at me.
When did it occur to you that you could do Joy Behar?
I was just watching her on The View one day, and I was just watching her. I was like, oh, I think I know people like that. Very New York, and yeah, she was always saying like. She was trying to, brush stuff off. So she'd be like, "Oh, who cares? I don't know. I don't know about that." And something about that, I was like, "Oh." And then we just wrote it into a sketch, and it worked out.
I love it. Are there impersonations you've been working on recently?
I think they're too local. But I've been trying to do Kai Ryssdal. He does like on NPR. He does like economics. I'm not going to do it because it's so like. Also, now I don't want to be on the spot.
Okay.
But that's just because I'm in my car and I hear this. He talks about economics, and I've been doing him. But no, not really.
Yeah, I feel like when you're hanging out in your office, are you just doing impressions all day by yourself when nobody's looking, or what are you talking in your head?
I think in my car I do.
Yeah.
I think in my car, or if I'm at the airport and I hear a type of person, like there's a way that someone will talk. I just went to Germany, and there's like I don't know. It just occurs to me, and I'll just do it to myself.
Yeah,
but I'm not on a sketch show where I need to present it to anybody. I guess I could do it as stand-up.
Yeah, I feel like because I have such bad OCD in my head, where I feel like that'd be a curse for me because I would only talk like that person, and I would just be like, "Shut the fuck up."
You think so? If you went to if you went to a hotel in Germany. And they said to you, yes, would you like 2 keys or 1? You think you'd start talking that way?
In my head. And I would start doing it to my friends. And they'd be like, what are you doing?
People do kind of do that, though, when they go to Europe. All of a sudden they start talking like that a little bit. So maybe.
I mean, when we went to Australia, we were talking like, too easy, mate.
Yeah.
But like it just becomes so fucking
Easy as.
But I do that by myself. Like sometimes I'll watch a TikTok video of somebody with Tourette's, and I'm just like, I fucking say the same shit they do by myself playing video games at my house. I'm just like, yeah, it's just I don't know. I just got to be careful because I can go down a fucking rabbit hole. If I got really good at an impression, I would just get into character all day.
I'm just wondering about this Tourette's thing.
There's a girl on TikTok named Bailey, and she's like, you ever seen Bailey? And she's just like, you know, feeding her dog or pet, and she's just like, fuck you. And like I sent it to our buddy Paul, and he's like, dude, like you say the same shit, you know, and it's just like, you just get so, I don't know, I love it. But
I saw this video on Reddit, which was like a group of people with Tourette's got together and just started talking, and they were making each other laugh so much because they kept triggering, you know,
They're making each other laugh?
Yeah.
Because I could imagine if you had Tourette's and you were in a group of people with Tourette's that it would maybe get overwhelming and make you sad.
Oh, you think, huh?
well, did you
I
see
could see that, like, oh, you know, like we're all here, like exhibiting this thing that's created problems for us in our life, you know, and maybe the compounding of that would.
Yeah.
Did you see that
but
video?
It's great. I love for the.
Well, this one was that they were really laughing.
I love that.
Yeah, there was a video of these people that all had the funniest laughs in the world. They brought them all together on a talk
I saw
show.
that. On a French talk show, I think. Yeah.
And they just laughed the whole time
Yeah.
because like this person would be making a weird noise, and then it would just set everybody off. I mean, I love that kind of stuff.
And you know when stuff seems fake, this did not seem fake. I was like, oh, I think they're really laughing.
Yeah, of course.
Oh God, you guys really did things not fake. There are so many fake videos, and it drives me crazy. I don't know how they don't think that you can tell, or you can't tell. You know, like fake stunts.
Yeah,
and stuff.
because you got approached by some people in the beginning, and you're like, I'm not faking shit. What are you talking about?
Yeah, when I started my YouTube channel, I linked up with some people who are very prolific and doing prank videos on YouTube to kind of launch my stuff. And we were kind of coming up with what were we going to do to collaborate together. And they suggested, oh, we could just fake it. And I was like, I had a really visceral reaction to that. I said, if I ever fake anything, and by definition, faking meaning if I ever attempt to deceive the audience, you know, that's where the line is. If I deceive the audience, then everything I have ever done.
What's the point then?
Right, exactly.
They can get that anywhere.
Right. It's crazy. It's crazy how far those guys went. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of people. When you get approached to be in a movie like Deuce Bigelow or you know any of these
Ron
movies,
Burgundy.
yeah. Like, is it standard or is it usual that they give you the ball to just?
Yeah, I would say that's usual. That's they'll say this is the parameters for how the scene is, but you know. Obviously go take it somewhere else, or if you want to do, and I love it. And also when that happens, I try not to prove that I can, you know, be funny and like I want to do all these crazy. I do try to keep it within, you know, their working hours, you know, as opposed to like making a scene into like, I don't know, I don't want it to be like where it doesn't make any sense anymore. So I goof around, but I try to keep it.
Did I read that right? That you're the voice of Speedy Gonzales on Looney Tunes?
Yeah, on one version of it.
Oh, which like the cartoon in the 90s?
No, it would be one from the mid 2000s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so do they give you parameter, or do they tell you to go like...
That was more like, these are the lines.
Wow.
Just because with animation, you know, with something as simple as that, there's no reason for me to like try to like outsmart what they wrote.
Right. It's Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So, exactly. So, but with movies and stuff, Ron Burgundy was that way, but yeah, I'm always psyched if someone asks me to be in something. It's the best.
Especially when you have creative license.
Yeah, especially. Because then I got to memorize too many lines, and I don't like memorizing too much stuff. You're friends with Lance Bangs, right?
I am.
Yeah.
I love Lance Bangs.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
He's like a real... I've known him for a while. I guess you have too, but...
I've worked with him for many, many years.
He's like a real... he's like cement of like different groups of friends. Like he really is like the center of like... I just feel like everybody knows him in a really close way. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like friends, truly friends with him.
Well, he's at the intersection of comedy and music.
Yeah. And
So-
he's a fan.
Yeah.
Something about him though, he makes things happen. Like he did was it his 50th birthday party? He just set up this birthday party and like Mike Watt played, all these people, Yaz showed up, and he just does
Nice.
these.
Yeah.
And just at this movie theater, I don't know, there's something in the way that like when he invites people show up.
If anybody listening is not aware of Lance Bangs...
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that we're actually shooting this.
The guy who's a cameraman on Jackass who's constantly barfing. He's barfing while filming. He can't stand the color red. He's very...
stand
You
the
can't
color
say, wait,
red?
what?
Yeah, like he said that one time they made him film, they painted a whole room red and made him film in it.
And what does he do?
He
Just lost his mind?
Freaked out. That's why the room that we filmed the sweatsuit cocktail in was completely red, and we were all
okay.
wearing red.
Oh, really?
He's got like sort of wild gray hair, usually a beard,
A little bit Jerry Garcia-ish.
He has this.
and he's pretty quiet. He's got like a quiet way about him.
Yeah, we saw him during the pandemic, and he's wearing a mask, and you know exactly it's Lance Bangs.
Yeah,
You know?
we've had him on Portlandia a bunch too.
Yeah.
We've done a bunch of sketches with him.
Yeah, we linked up with them.
Last time we were in Portland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
yeah, that was
he
crazy.
is truly great.
Did he have anything to do with your drummer special?
He directed it.
There you go. There you go.
I didn't even mean to. I had to think about it for a second. I was like, oh, he had everything to do with that special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a prolific director of comedy specials and
Yeah.
music videos.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, his resume.
Yeah. Yeah, my brother called me up. He's like, in Austin, he's like, do you know Lance Bangs? I'm like, yeah, how do you know him? He's like, oh, he's directing Jay Larson's comedy special. And then you just see him pop up all over, and he's always got his hand in something. He's good. He's really good.
And he's somehow not one of those people who's like, hey man, tell your friends about
Right.
I'm a director, you know, and let them know. None of that.
People
Or
just
like,
come to
hey,
him.
Can you introduce me to this person? Zero. He just works and is just, you know.
Yeah. I got to ask you, you did the voice for Red Dead.
Yeah.
I can't get into Red Dead, and everybody loves it so much. I just bought PS5, and
The first one or the second one? First
Two.
Red Dead, the second Red Dead Redemption.
yeah.
You're not into it.
And maybe I'm doing this wrong, but I bought a PS5 because like I'm just glued to my phone, and I thought this would be a good way for me to like not look at my phone for an hour.
Oh,
So
yeah.
You're going to switch from one screen to the next?
Yeah, but it totally shuts off my brain, and I don't think about anything, and I love it. And it's been really, really good for my mental health, and I know it's counterintuitive because people say that video games are not, but this has been like a really great experience. I played Doom, and then I went straight to Red Dead, and it's just such a slow storyline that like I can't handle moving that slow during it.
I hear you.
That's the only problem with
but
it.
do you hook it up to like a big screen that you can watch it?
Yeah.
I mean, it does take a lot of patience. I see what you mean, because sometimes you're on a horse, you're like,
And it's cinematic. It's
Cinematic.
beautiful.
and it's real, but I know what you mean. I love it, but sometimes you're going up the mountain on a horse, and I'm
In
like,
the snow.
in the snow, and I'm like, I gotta feed the horse.
Yeah.
And I understand, but I'm like, you gotta give me a break. You know, like I should be able to just go up the mountain
Fast.
fast.
Are you able to, are you like shooting people from the horse?
There's a bunch of that.
And it's intermittent, but it's not like Call of Duty where it's like it's fucking on, or it's not
No.
like Doom where you're like, you're walking up the thing and it's like your buddy's yelling, you're like I gotta go back and get my fucking buddy, and it's like just
And it's real distances, and you got to look on the map, and you're like, there's no fast way to get anywhere. So you're like, all right, I'm gonna go down through the valley, and like,
okay, good. I'm not the only one.
no, but I love it. But now that you're saying it, that is the parts where I get quietly frustrated.
Because there are some people. I was looking up at Twitch, and there's like a lot of people that do Red Dead.
Yeah,
and it's like it's a great game, but it's just I'm new to video games, so I'm wondering if
there's great characters in it. I mean, I like that it's like calm and you could just sort of enjoy doing small things in that game. So, and I like the challenges are pretty good. They're pretty interesting.
Yeah, you can like die of tuberculosis, or your chick cheats on you.
Yeah, and there's like all sorts of things to collect. You got to go to the shop and stuff. I know what it is. I had to go up a mountain, and the game told me that my jacket wasn't big enough. I've got to go buy another jacket.
So you got to go back into town.
I had to go buy to be warmer, and I'm like, I'm into the game, but don't make me
go back into town.
Go back.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to. I was reading about Red Dead, and I was like, oh, you do the voicing for it.
Yeah, I originally worked with someone on Grand Theft Auto, and the reason I did it is because David Cross did Grand Theft Auto, and I got very like, I want to do that. How did he get to do that? So I kind of bugged them a little bit until they got me on. And there's this guy Laszlo, who got me on that, and then the first Red Dead Redemption, and then this one for real, the second one.
And you love doing video games?
Yeah.
What voiceover work do you love doing the most? Do you love like the cartoon?
Big Mouth is fun to do.
But do you like doing video games better than cartoons, or?
Oh, I like video games better because it's so unknown. Like there's a route. If you do an animated thing, there's like a way to do it, and you know, video games are just so much more mysterious. They don't really need you to be a comedian, or so I like that. I like that it's a little, I don't know, something about it is like more unknown.
That's cool.
Yeah.
How much Spanish language stuff do you do?
A pretty good amount. I did Los Spookies, and I try to do a lot. Sometimes I think that my Spanish is really great, and then when I really talk to people who really speak Spanish, I realize I'm just like on the precipice of it. Like I still have to slow down a little bit, but I try to do as much as I can.
Do you have Spanish impressions?
No, one time
Speedy Gonzalez.
Speedy Gonzalez, I guess. They sped that up a little bit too.
Oh, really?
Let me speak faster. Wow, Spanish impressions. No, I should have been prepared and come up with something.
I mean, I'm not trying to make you do a Spanish impression. It was more just yes or no.
Yeah. No, I guess the answer is no. But, I mean, I try to do different accents from different parts of South America and stuff.
Yeah.
Venezuela es aquí. Cuba está aquí, un poquito más bajo. Y Chile es un poquito así que porque no me dijiste la cosa. Y México es mucho como música de México. Estamos cantando cuando estamos hablando.
Argentina?
Oh, that's too hard for me. Because they have that
proper Spanish.
It's weirder than that. Esos así, esos.
Yeah, it's almost like that dance where you kick.
Yeah.
What?
Tango, is it?
The Paso Doble? Or
yeah, I think that's it.
That's a tough
kick.
one, though. Brasil é muito bem, ótimo. É tão bem. Cantando. Ótimo. They're very like expressive.
Man, that's impressive. I love that we made it over an hour in before you did that.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to tell people, I'm going to say, hey, you got to stick around to the very end. You get the best impression.
That's the headlining. That's the headlining.
That's really cool, man. I love that, dude.
Oh, thanks.
I'm honored and moved by that.
Thanks. You've been to South America, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've traveled a lot, and I'm just impressions are not my thing, man. I've never.
I bet if you were in a jam and you had to do an impression, you'd be able to do it.
Don't clowns do impressions of like what don't they tell you to act like somebody when you're trying to be?
Maybe I'll try and get myself into a jam and do it. We'll put that on our to-do list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. So let's let people know what you're up to now. Do we have any tour dates?
Yeah, when does this come out? August 6th, I'm in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I think a couple days later, I'm in Amherst. Then Alaska, like Anchorage for a couple days. And then just all over. Like, I just book stuff and I'll just...
Where can they go buy tickets?
I have no idea.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Just Google you.
It just works out and people show up and it's been great, you know.
That's great,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
And
there's a show called This Fool that's coming out soon, which is about some of the sort of Mexican-American community in Los Angeles. I'm not in it, but I'm a producer on it, so that's coming out in July.
This Fool.
dude, that's epic. And how many active shows do you have? Is Los Spookies active right now?
No, that's done.
Okay.
But This Fool would be the only one that's active right now.
Okay.
And documentary now, I suppose, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird talking about stuff because sometimes when I see people talking about their own projects, I'm okay with it. I'm like, oh yeah, they're just promoting it. But every time I do it, I'm like, oh God, does anyone want to hear me?
I think it's impressive and fascinating how many different shows you've been a part of.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem is you got so many goddamn things going on that you're just,
Well, never enough.
never know.
Never.
Yeah.
I always just want to keep, making something else.
Are you active on social media?
Ish. I'm
Ish.
on Instagram, but like I post once in a while just for like shows or tour
Okay.
dates and stuff like that. But I'm not. I don't know why. Some people are so good at it.
I know, man. I go through phases. I can be pretty
That's
good
what it's
at
like
it.
for me. And then sometimes if a company wants you to promote something, there's so much they're like, make sure to say this and all of a sudden,
right.
and then I feel like I'm working. I'm like, this feels like a job.
You know who's really good at it is Tony Hawk. He's just
Casual.
muscle memory, and it's just organic and
fun.
And he's got such unbelievable wealth of just archival stuff that goes back decades, and he's always just mining some nugget of gold.
How do people do it?
I don't know.
I saw him post yesterday where he did a flip holding a glass of milk on the half pipe.
Yeah, that was an older one.
That was an older one?
TMZ picked up. But
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
That's so.
So
it's
rad.
tough because how does he go through his phone? I would be like, okay, where did I keep that?
Right.
Oh, there it is. Is it too long? I don't know. But
Yeah.
he's just.
But you're good at that with the month and the year. You can ask him any situation and you'll be like, that was August of 94. Like, he's really good at that. I know
Except for wildboyz. Wildboyz all blends together. But yeah, man, I think it's fantastic. And
I think you're fantastic. I'm always happy for you and your guys' success.
well, I appreciate that so
It
much.
stood the test
man.
of time
It's crazy to think multi-generational.
and still
that's-
works. Still works.
Yeah.
Like the tone of it, everything.
Well, thank you, man.
Yeah.
It's been an honor to have you, and
Likewise.
continued success.
Thank you. Continued success to you.
Yeah, dude.
Nice meeting you.
I always say this to everybody. If there's anything that you're not comfortable with, just let us
No,
know.
that's great.
Nothing sent off any alarms. And I think that's great, man.
Yeah.
Fred Armisen, ladies and gentlemen, is he the most likable dude? So talented. And I really think that the thumbnail for this episode is particularly epic. I don't know, man. Some of you might have noticed that, again, we did 2 episodes in 1 week. I mean, what can I say? We're in love with delivering you guys content. I think we might do this for 1 more week. 2 episodes per week. Just as an experiment to see how it goes. But then it'll probably be back to 1 per week. Now, you guys, I love you so much for supporting the podcast. And I mean that more than ever. Thank you for sticking around to the very end. And let us know what you think, man. Like, we really do watch the comments closely. We really care about the feedback. Now, I'm kind of scared of watching the comments. Everybody else reports to me about them. But hey, man, I love you guys. Thank you for the support, and have a wonderful day. Hey everybody, and welcome to a major wild ride with steveo. What are we doing here on the beach? You don't worry about that, folks, okay? What I'm talking about is we got my dad this week. And what do you think of my dad?
Your dad is one of the raddest dudes. I remember back when we were knuckleheads, I told this story before, and your dad sat you and me aside and said, dudes, don't blow your money, don't buy no homes, wait 5 years. And I always listen to that, and that's when I bought my first big house, was right when your dad said to wait 5 years.
And you sold it for more than double?
Yeah. Thanks, Pops.
He sold it for more than double, ladies and gentlemen, because my dad is the man. Now, we're starting this episode off in a special way, okay? Because it was, 2019, about 2 years ago exactly, when I tried to record my very first ever podcast. This was my first attempt at podcasting, and I'm going to play a minute and a half of that first effort. And then we're going to kick into the new one. So, let's get into it. Real quick, Dad, how about if we give everybody an overview? Tell us about your career yourself.
Started my corporate career in Toronto, and we moved around the world, a number of different major companies, Procter & Gamble, PepsiCo, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, Del Monte Foods, Nabisco Brands, and Campbell Soup. You lived in, 4 different countries by the time? 5 different.
Hey everybody, and welcome to a major wild ride with steveo. What are we doing here on the beach? You don't worry about that, folks, okay? What I'm talking about is we got my dad this week. And what do you think of my dad?
Your dad is one of the raddest dudes. I remember back when we were knuckleheads, I told this story before, and your dad sat you and me aside and said, dudes, don't blow your money, don't buy no homes, wait 5 years. And I always listen to that, and that's when I bought my first big house, was right when your dad said to wait 5 years.
And you sold it for more than double?
Yeah. Thanks, Pops.
He sold it for more than double, ladies and gentlemen, because my dad is the man. Now, we're starting this episode off in a special way, okay? Because it was, 2019, about 2 years ago exactly, when I tried to record my very first ever podcast. This was my first attempt at podcasting, and I'm going to play a minute and a half of that first effort. And then we're going to kick into the new one. So, let's get into it. Real quick, Dad, how about if we give everybody an overview? Tell us about your career yourself.
Started my corporate career in Toronto, and we moved around the world, a number of different major companies, Procter & Gamble, PepsiCo, R.J. Reynolds Tobacco, Del Monte Foods, Nabisco Brands, and Campbell Soup. You lived in, 4 different countries by the time? 4 different countries by the time you were 3. 5 different countries by the time you got to high school. And by the age of 3, you'd spoken 3 languages fluently.
As I understand it, you were president of all of Pepsi-Cola in all of Brazil when I was 6 months old.
That's correct. It was the ideal size profit center for one's first experience as general manager.
The ideal size. Okay, I want to get into you before you were married. Is it true that you were charged with a crime and your defense was that you couldn't have possibly committed the crime because you were far too drunk?
It was a college incident, and it was a student court, and they accused me of causing damage with willful intent, and my defense was that I was too drunk to be capable of having any intent.
Ladies and gentlemen, my dad. Yeah, dude. And of course, I don't have to introduce you to Scott Randolph or Paul Brisske, but I do want to thank you for being here.
Well, it's great to be here, and I've watched enough of your podcasts that it's terrific to now be able to participate in one.
Yeah.
Do you watch every podcast?
No.
Just when Mark Cuban is on.
Well,
Mark Cuban, Mike Tyson, Shaquille O'Neal.
Jerry Rice.
Jerry
Nice.
Rice,
All
yeah.
right.
So if Dad's aware of and interested in the guest, we can count on him listening.
Cool. Have you noticed, how are we doing with the show? Are we improving? Is it...
You know, Paul, I don't think I've seen enough, and so I haven't looked at it from the standpoint of comparing. I've either liked it or I haven't liked it, and I've been focused more on Steve's interviewing skills. And it's really interesting, the differences depending on the guest that he has.
Right. I do believe that I've grown substantially as a result of doing this podcast. I think I still have ways to go, but it's definitely getting better.
Well, life is a journey, and if you hadn't grown some, you'd be a failure. And the promise of future growth keeps you going.
Absolutely. And honestly, I never predicted that podcasting would represent really just an exercise in me improving my ability to communicate.
Well, it does. It shows.
And that's the benefit I get from it above all else.
Yep.
And I just show my ass to the world a lot, and I continue to do so, but the benefit is real.
You're evolving, and that's important.
Right. So we established your background with a clip that we recorded either over or about exactly 2 years ago. And you're a very impressive guy. And from here, I think that we should let the world in on our history, right?
Go for it.
Okay, let me ask you, how many times would you estimate that you were called into school to meet my teachers on a day that was not actually designated for meetings between parents and teachers?
There were many incidents. Some of them by phone, some of them by report card. But the one thing that was consistent was that Steve is capable of so much more if he only put some effort into it.
That was a mantra, and it used to be the teachers saying that until the Motley Crue story. And without rehashing it, I called every hotel in the Yellow Pages to meet Motley Crue. I accomplished that. You took photos of me with the members of Motley Crue, and then it turned into a curse for the rest of my life. You said every time a report card came in, every time I was into, Steve, if you would just show the initiative to your schoolwork, to fill in the blank that you did to meet Motley Crue, you could accomplish anything.
Yeah, well, you spent a whole Sunday afternoon calling every hotel in the Toronto telephone book, and it took you until the end of the day to get the right hotel. So that was initiative.
Yeah.
And that was lacking in every other aspect of your life.
Right.
Was that really the first time you saw Steve take any sort of real passion and initiative for something?
Yeah. He had, as a kid, Little League Baseball. I mean, there was a lot of stuff. When he put his mind to something, he would go out and do it. But that was, to me, the most impressive.
It was...
What grade were you in when you did that?
I was in 8th grade.
And you went to school the next day and you're like, guess what, dudes?
I went to school the next day wearing my girls concert t-shirt, which had just a big stripper bent over with her butt in a thong, and they sent me home from school that day to change my shirt.
Really?
Yeah, I was super proud of that.
Oh, the thing I remember was that
The curse started.
Our company had a skybox in the Maple Leaf Gardens, and nobody in the company would want to go and see the Motley Crue. So I got the skybox, and I got somebody to smuggle in your recording equipment.
Well, no, we did. We did it. We brought it, and we went
No,
up there.
I think you gave it to the company driver, and he put it in ahead of time because you wouldn't have been allowed in the door of the gardens with your recording equipment. And I came home as a surprise, and I said, Steve, guess what? I got the skybox at the gardens. You got your recording in there, and I thought I was super, Dad. I really felt hot shit.
Right.
And your immediate reaction was, shit, Dad, that's lame. Who wants to watch the Crew in a skybox?
Yeah, dude, watching Motley Crue behind a plate glass window sucks.
And then I said, fine. You get better seats on your initiative, and I'll take you there, and easy to cancel the box. But if you want better seating than that, you got to accomplish it. And that's where the initiative piece came in.
Whoa, okay.
that coupled with the fact that I saw the day before the concert that Motley Crue was in town and the news was complaining that these rock stars in our town causing trouble. And I was like, wow, they're already here. But I think that's an old story. We don't need to rehash too much. I think what's interesting to me is to make clear what your job was and what the company was at that time. Of course, it was Nabisco, makers of Oreos. And all kinds of National Biscuit Company is what Nabisco means. And you were the president of Nabisco in Canada?
Yes.
And it was the Nabisco Skybox.
Correct.
And your job with Nabisco was born of your previous job with R.J. Reynolds Tobacco.
In between, what happened, I joined RJR for the Latin America job. And then we moved back to London with Del Monte, which was part of RJR, and I did that. And then RJR, including Del Monte, merged with Nabisco. And after the merger, I ended up in Canada running the Canadian piece.
All right.
How many countries have you been to? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't know.
You don't keep track like Steve?
I would say, probably all of Western Europe. All of South America except Chile and Bolivia, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Central America, and I guess a couple of trips to India. And
You went to Russia. I wasn't like 2 weeks away from being born in Russia.
No, you were 2 weeks away from being born when we went to Morocco, but you were the most traveled fetus. But that wasn't to do with the job. We just happened to live in London, and your mom and I took a lot of short trips to a lot of different places because it was easy to do and at the time relatively inexpensive.
Right. What was the story with Russia? There was like some car chase or some crazy debacle.
You got in a car chase?
We your mom and I went to Moscow for 4 days with an American couple that we were very friendly with in London. And we ended up in the bar in what at the time was a leading hotel. It was called the Inn Tourist Hotel in Moscow. That was when Russia was a completely different place from what it is now. And somehow we got talking to these two black guys from the Republic of Chad. They told us that they were working with the Chad embassy in Moscow. Point was, one of them didn't speak any English, so your mom and I talked to them primarily in French and bored the shit out of our friends from Texas. And then, after not too long, the older brother, who was accompanied with a white Russian lady, excused himself and disappeared. And shortly after that, the younger brother who remained said, "Hey, we got this great party tonight at the Chad embassy. Do you want to go to the party?" And with hindsight, he was obviously trying to create some problems and hook up with one of our wives. The Texas couple got into a fight and they screwed off and went to bed. And your mom had a couple of drinks and decided she wanted to go to bed. And strangely, she was accepting when I said, "Well, shit, I want to go to the party at the embassy." So we're in this taxi driving across Moscow, and suddenly the taxi pulled to a stop. And what was supposedly the embassy was this crappy-looking apartment building. And he went into this single-room apartment with a naked light bulb hanging in the center of the room. And the older brother was already in bed with a white Russian. And the younger brother wanted to kick me out because, well, what the fuck, he didn't get what he wanted, and why should he worry about me, this crazy foreigner? Happily, the older brother, climbed out of bed and put on his pants and went out into the street with me and got me a taxi to get back to the hotel. And your mom was sound asleep, and I was able to get in without waking her up, and life was very happy the next morning.
Okay.
Wow. So there was no party. They were just trying
No,
to
there was no
lure
party.
the
There's no
women
party
away.
at all.
This was a guy trying to bone my mom.
Is there even an embassy of Chad in Russia?
I would guess there was, but I don't know.
Okay. Now, I remember Mom telling me about a time when you guys smoked pot together. Oh, snap. I just called out Dad for blazing hay, for firing up the dubage. And I might be about to call him out on boning my mom. Yeah, well, hey, you know what? I'm going to call myself out for boning this little hot chunk of puss. I got my girl standing right next to me, Lux. She's all dolled up, looking fine, and making me feel kind of horny. You know, when I'm feeling kind of horny and I really want that extra oomph, you know what I do? I take a Blue Chew. What's a Blue Chew? It's a tablet that has the same active ingredient as both Viagra and Cialis. And what does it do when I take it? It gives me a rock-hard boner, frankly. Yeah. Plus, this tablet is a fraction of the cost of Viagra and Cialis, and it's chewable. And when I chew it, my tongue turns blue. And when I show Lux my blue tongue, what happens, babe?
I just start stripping off my clothes. I know it's go time.
Yeah. Have I ever let you down after taking a Blue Chew?
No, it is highly effective and appreciated.
Yeah. So, how do you get one? Well, you go to bluechew.com, and remember that the promo code STEVO will help you out greatly. But what's important about going to bluechew.com is that it doesn't require any awkward visit to a doctor. You don't have to physically go into any weird doctor appointment because you just consult with one of their medical providers right there at bluechew.com, and it's super simple. And then the things just show up in the mail, okay? Now, how do you get an entire month's supply completely for free? Well, you go to bluechew.com and you use the promo code STEVO. You get an entire month's supply completely for free. All you have to pay is $5 for shipping. And, honey, one more time, how hard do I bone you after I take a Blue Chew?
So hard.
Yeah. Okay, so one more time, 3 month supply. All you gotta pay is $5. Go to bluechew.com and use the promo code STEVO. All right, now let's talk about my dad getting baked. And you insisted that it had no effect on you, but Mom said that was absurd. It was laughable that after smoking the marijuana that you guys like wiped out all of the food in the pantry and the fridge, and then you vigorously made love, and that you were very, very stoned.
Well,
Mom said you were stoned.
I'm really glad that she used the word vigorous. I don't remember eating all the food, but it was an experiment that was not repeated.
When and where was this?
This was in London in probably 1973, about the same time as a Russia trip.
Okay. So Dad was into experiments.
Swingers parties and
Yeah, what's going on, Ted?
That's great.
What company were you with at that point?
Pepsi.
Oh, Pepsi.
Yeah.
Okay.
A more liberal company than Nabisco.
No, I'd say they were equally liberal. I mean, both of those companies were very, very high performance companies. You delivered, they treated you like God. You didn't deliver, and you were out the door. Huh. And I loved that environment.
Good.
Did they care that you're stoned half the time?
Shit. I mean, you make these idiot remarks, and then you try to get a reaction.
I mean, we're all laughing. He's doing his job. So that was in London, where, of course, I was born.
Correct.
In 1974.
Correct.
You're already working for Pepsi. So, if I understand it, where my older sister Cindy was born in Connecticut, that's where you were working for Procter & Gamble.
No, I worked for Procter & Gamble in Toronto.
In Toronto.
I left Procter & Gamble to join a marketing consulting company in Connecticut, and from there I went to PepsiCo.
And PepsiCo, you went to London and got promoted to the Brazil position when I was 6 months old, and so I moved from London to Brazil when I was 6 months old.
Correct.
And so then we only lived in Brazil for, about a year and a half?
2
years. So I was 2.5 years old when we moved from Brazil to Venezuela.
Correct.
Caracas, Venezuela, and that was because you got promoted within Pepsi to not just all of Brazil, but Central America.
Actually, Brazil was part of the Latin America group, and I reported to a boss in Buenos Aires. And when we moved to Caracas, they divided that into two halves, and I had the half that went from the north border of Brazil up to the south border of Mexico.
So that was an upgrade.
That was called North Latin America, and yeah, that was a significant promotion.
Significant promotion. So, I'm 2.5 years old at this point, and I'm speaking English with you guys.
Yeah.
I had been speaking Portuguese in Brazil, and now I'm in Caracas, Venezuela. So this is where I learned to speak Spanish.
Correct.
In nursery school.
Correct. Yeah, and with the maids at home.
Right. And was it the first day of nursery school that mom picked me up and they said there was a real problem?
Oh, yeah.
What was the problem?
Well, I forget the word.
Tremendo.
Tremendo. And, yeah. And at that time, our Spanish, was okay, but needed work.
Yeah.
And tremendo.
Well, right. My mom shows up to pick up.
Yeah, and we both thought that was really good. I mean,
right.
And then we asked somebody,
Well, I mean, you presumably weren't there. Mom picked me up.
Yeah, and she told me the story afterwards.
She
told me the story when
the teacher said,
Mom,
what? Steve is tremendous.
Yeah, so Mom said, how was my son? Oh, he was tremendo.
Yeah, but nobody there spoke any English. So
right.
All the communication was in Spanish.
So, like, you need to know that your son is tremendo.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay.
So mom's really pretty happy about this. She comes home to brag about it.
Yeah,
to
takes the good
everybody.
news back to Ted.
Yeah, she comes over, hey, how about that? My son's tremendo, guys. And the Spanish-speaking friends said, hey, that's not...
Tremendo is like a storm, like a hurricane, like a piece of shit.
Yeah, not fucking cool.
So that's you at 3 years old. Like, what could you have even done in there,
Right.
Well, the interesting thing, I remember, you were watching a lot of, Spanish language TV, and it was all... American programming with Spanish soundtrack dubbed in. And when we moved up to Connecticut, there was about 2 weeks before we moved into our new house. And we stayed in a Holiday Inn, and we chose it for its proximity to the house and the school, and it was really kind of a tacky Holiday Inn with, cigarette burns in the carpet and, crappy furniture and all the rest of it. And Mom told me that, the first day you're getting ready to go to nursery school, and you turned to Mom and said, Mom, when are we going to get to America?
All right. And I was a problem. So I was a problem I was tremendo on day one of nursery school at 2 years old. And I was safe to say I was a problem in kindergarten, first.
Yeah, like Ted, when you're getting called to the school to talk to the principal when Steve's, in like middle school or something, what are those calls for? Like, what did Steve do?
Well, they were always taken by his mother, and so I got it secondhand. And I don't remember that many meetings. I remember a lot of report cards and a lot of conversations. But to the extent we went to meetings, it was basically the same old story. Now, Steve's got so much more potential, and he doesn't use it, and he's disruptive in class, and he should be getting much higher grades, and what are you going to do about it?
Right.
And we said all the appropriate things, and life went on without a whole lot of change.
So I'm curious, like, I'm sure all parents go through, like, just sort of fearing for your child's future, or what was in your head, like, were you like, I don't know what this kid's future is going to be like, or were you optimistic, like he'll figure it out? Like, what was your perception of what Steve's future was going to look like?
Never really got that far thinking about it. I mean, we were always living in the present.
Okay.
Yeah.
Putting out fires in the present.
Yeah. So then, it's kind of moving through grade school, and we moved to Miami when I was in first grade. I remember my first day of first grade. The classroom had the whole wall was just a window, right? Because it was sort of like it was an outdoor kind of campus. and Mom showed up to pick me up. Like somewhat before the bell rang to release it. So Mom's standing outside the window, and I'm like just. I remember like climbing on top of my desk and like waving, yeah, Mom, look at me. You know, it was just like, what the hell? It was, and I just don't know, like I always just had this super crazy overdeveloped need for attention, and that drove everything to this day. And then, so fourth grade, still in Florida, we moved to England again. How about the...
Now, just a sec. Before you leave fourth grade, that was the only teacher you connected with or you got good grades.
Right.
And, you know, I forget his name.
Oh.
But I think he was the only male teacher you'd had.
And he came to my football games.
Yeah. And
Stan Fenton.
Yeah. And he showed what could be.
Right.
And then it kind of went down the tube when you got to London.
Yeah, got to London. Okay, so we moved to London. I'm in fourth grade. I'm 9 years old, and there was sort of an interim apartment building that we lived in while Mom and Dad were looking for a house to get. And in this apartment building, there was this creepy like handyman lived in the basement, right? Like, and I was just like down in the basement, 9 years old, hanging out with this creepy handyman and his like sidekick, like chick down there. I think they were like smoking doobies all the time. I don't even know what kind of a weird environment it was, but I was down there like most of the time.
Okay.
Now these people sent me up to my apartment with various videotapes of like super like gnarly horror movies. One notably had been banned in England. It was illegal to have, and they're giving me this. Was giving it to a 9-year-old. It was called "I Spit on Your Grave," and like the premise of the movie was that this woman had been raped, gang raped, and then the rest of the movie is she's going to murder each and every one of the guys who raped her. And one of the guys, when she's murdering him, she like kind of like fake seduces him, grabs his wiener and cuts it off with a knife and throws it in the sink. And so after viewing this videotape by myself, because I lacked supervision, you know, Mom and Dad didn't know like that I was down in the basement with the creepy guy, and they didn't know that I was watching these things on the VCR
banned
upstairs.
films.
Yeah, banned films. And but the next day after watching I Spit on Your Grave, I show up in fourth grade class and they have show and tell. Does anybody have show and tell? And I said, yeah, I got show and tell. I got to tell you about this great movie I watched. This guy got his dick cut off. And they threw his dick in the sink. There's blood everywhere. It was great. It's called I Spit on Your Grave. I think it's banned. So that was definitely a time when you got a call. And,
I think I may have been out of the country and Mom might have taken that call.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely. You were always out of the country. Dad was never around. And Mom was drunk.
So the creepy mechanic fills in, you know, the handyman.
The superintendent.
But you know, one serious note to demonstrate how fucked up the current world has become is that movie that you watched that was banned would be X-rated today, but it would be in broad distribution.
You know what? I don't know that that it was ever banned in America. I think you could actually very much like find it on Netflix.
But the point, there's so many people that are fucked up because they spend all their time watching this kind of shit because it's so readily available. And at least in that era and in England, you know, there was some degree of control on it.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you ban something,
everybody wants it more.
Yeah, everybody wants it more. That was why I was so thrilled that my early DVDs were banned in Ontario. So I was killing it in Ontario.
yeah.
What the early
biggest
DVDs
market?
were banned in Canada or just Ontario?
I forget if it was just one of them or something, but yeah, banning stuff is it's like when you tell your kid what not to do, you know?
Or what words
if you put
they
a warning
can't say
at the beginning of a TV show.
Yeah. It becomes MTV's biggest hit.
Right, and you know what sucked about that fourth grade situation was the superintendent all of a sudden disappeared. Yeah, the guy was gone. I don't know.
So flash forward to like high school. Are you getting in the same type of problems or different?
Oh, dude. You know what? 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade were probably my most, like, well-behaved years, and that was because my passion was skateboarding. You know, I wasn't into, like, getting in trouble. I just wanted to skateboard, and I think that it instilled such great values in me because skateboarding with, like, you know, everything we talked to Tony Hawk about, how, like, it's just... It weeds out the quitters, you know? It, like, really isolates, like, just, you know, kids that are willing to sacrifice and work hard and, you know, like, all of these crazy things. And then after 10th grade, I quit skateboarding and decided to become a pothead.
Yeah, but I gotta stop you in the skateboarding. 'Cause I remember fondly, you know, walking down Prince Albert Road with you, watching you attempt to ollie over soda cans that were lying in their side.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it, so I stomped them down.
And your biggest accomplishment was when you could get over the vertical, soda can. And we, I guess, wrongly trusted you. But you traveled all over London. I mean, from age of 10, you were riding the London Underground system by yourself.
Right.
And, you know, pluses and minuses. It was a safer place then than it has since become.
Well,
but you got independent and you got self-confidence.
It's very, very valid and notable that in America, for the most part, a young adult, life does not really begin with any level of real freedom until a kid turns 16 years old and is able to drive.
Yeah, but
however, when not even 10, when I was 9 years old, the public transportation system in London afforded me all of the freedom that 16 years and older in America gets, and I had all that freedom and I exploited it at the age of 9.
Yeah, but the other thing, you know, with the skateboard, when you had the skateboard, you went all over London.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't just do it in the local area. And I'll never forget...
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak, not far from where we lived, by the Royal Oak Underground Station. They had a purpose-built skate park, underneath the highway, but built for skaters. And I said, kind of wishfully, Steve, this is great. Why don't you use that more often? And you'd be closer to home and maybe less at risk. I don't know if you were telling me the truth or not, but at the time, I'll never forget, you looked me in the eye and said, Dad, that's one of the most dangerous places in London. They found a dead body there not too long ago.
I don't doubt that they had found a dead body. It was certainly a dangerous neighborhood.
But the point is that rather than being upset, I was impressed with the street smarts that you developed.
Yeah.
And that made me feel even better about you chasing around London everywhere you went. On your own.
Sure. Yeah, I think that clearly, like, to go skate the ditch at Royal Oak, that was like, hey, let's get a group together so that we're, you know, safety in numbers.
And I didn't know that. So I gave full marks to you for being aware on it.
And then, okay, so now how about this? Like, junior year prom. Okay, I'm in 11th grade. Dad already knows where this is going. You better believe the story my dad and I are about to tell is awesome. But do you know what is not awesome? The fact that I recently got maybe fatter than I've ever been. Why? Because I had a full-blown food relapse. I got back on the sugar with the candy and the cake and the cookies, and it got ugly really fast. Plus, my heart rate variability took a serious nosedive. And if you're wondering what's heart rate variability, it is a crucial metric for indicating how fit you are, man. And I get the info from my Whoop band and my Whoop app, which happens to be the most sophisticated fitness tracking device and app in the world. Tells you everything. And you know what? I care about my fitness, and my Whoop band is helping me get fit again. Yesterday I had a massive skateboarding session, and my Whoop app tells me, yep, that skateboarding session significantly built up a cardiovascular load. Yeah, and I love a load, okay? And I love my Whoop app. and I want you to try it. The Whoop band is completely for free. What you do is you go to whoop.com, you use the promo code steveo, sign up for a subscription, and you get 15% off at checkout when you use the promo code steveo. This is going to tell you how well you're sleeping. It's going to tell you all kinds of stuff. And because I worked out so hard yesterday and had to be on set so early today, I really didn't get much sleep, and it tells me, yep, I really didn't recover very much. I need to maybe get some rest tonight. And I know that because of my Whoop band. So if you want to get 15% off at checkout, you go to whoop.com, you use the promo code steveo, and get active, get fit, and enjoy your life. Now, let's hear this story. I'm so excited for prom, right? And what I'm doing is I'm taking a pack of cigarettes and dispensing with the cigarettes, and I'm rolling these cone-shaped spliffs, right? These joints, and with the cone shape so that every other one's upside down, so that they all fit perfectly into this pack of cigarettes, right?
Like, you love packing things.
Yeah, right. And I'm all excited. I'm like, and I got the drawer, like I've got the cigarette box open so you can see how they all fit together great, sticking out with the twisted, like end, and it's open on display and in the drawer, which is also wide open. So Dad, for one reason or another, Mom, I think it was Mom. Mom was in my room. She looks in the drawer. She's looking at a box of joints. So she tells Dad, and you tell the story from here.
Well, we didn't like it. And so clearly the only thing to do was to confiscate the joints. And this was...
Oh, and didn't Mom light one to make sure it was pot?
I didn't know that. That maybe happened. But anyway, I
to make sure it was pot.
I got the word. And so, I got a hold of the offending substance. And this was about, if I remember correctly, 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
On the day of
the day of the prom. And I knew you'd spent your hard-saved allowance money on it, and I felt a little bit uncomfortable with the economic impact. I said, well, shit, if I give him the money, he's not going to be able to go get any more, so I'll feel better about it. And I was too stupid to wait until the next day.
Yeah. Dad says
you paid him back for the joints you took?
Dad reimbursed me for the weed that they stole.
He's like, send me an invoice for that weed. It's like, it's $1,000 worth of pot you guys just took.
We were talking about $10 value.
No. It was, at least 20 pounds.
No, come on.
No, I wouldn't. It was a whole cigarette box full of joints.
Well, maybe we didn't get all the joints, and we only got part of it, and then paid you for part of it.
And I think I overcharged you.
You profited.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, you have to take into account the time you took to roll the joints. It's quite an expense.
Right. Yeah, Dad paid for it, and within like half an hour, I had a big block of hash.
I love how, Ted, you just couldn't handle like the inefficiency of it. You're like, this makes bad business sense. Like, we need to fix this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was too much.
So what? You ran out, got a block of hash, and then
I didn't have time to roll it all into joints, but I certainly replaced the actual drugs in short order. Yeah, and so then, like I said, I was a pretty good kid. It's just skateboarding all through 10th grade. I was a B and C student. And then the 11th grade, I decided, like the first week of 11th grade, I found the stoners. And I said, hey, can I try pot? It wasn't like I was peer pressured into it. Nobody presented it to me. I went looking for an opportunity to get baked. And I smoked pot, and then I smoked it the next day, and then I was a daily pothead from the onset. And I started taking acid, and I started drinking alcohol regularly. And my grades really took a serious nosedive. And if it weren't for the fact that I applied to the University of Miami on an early acceptance deal, I would have had a lot of trouble getting accepted in there because my grades were just, falling off a cliff. And when I went to the University of Miami, it was a problem right away. Dad, you as a parent, like explain sort of what it was like, having me at the University of Miami.
Well,
You'll probably want to say about the tour of the school.
I've been legitimately criticized for trying to look at life with a silver lining through the rose-colored glasses. And I remember when we went to University of Miami, on the tour, and we walked out of the administration center, and you looked at me and said, "Dad, I don't want to go here. I will go here." And we went back to London, and one of the requirements, I guess was with most schools, still to an extent, you had to write an essay.
Yep.
And that was a huge issue for your sister and for most other kids coming through high school. And you told a story, and it was one page only.
I knocked it out.
And you knocked it out. And it was sad, but poignant, and probably impacted the approval process.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the story I wrote was about how I think I said it was 3 p.m. and the school bell rang, and this third grade kid was so excited and just got on his bike, sped all the way home because he had a Little League baseball game that day, and he was so stoked.
Playoff game.
Yeah, Little League. Before leaving for school that morning, this is a true story too. I had laid out my baseball uniform across my bed, all in particular, just ready to go throw it on and play the game. So I got suited up in my uniform, and I went, "Hey, Mom, time for my game." And Mom was drunk, in bed, and she says, "I'm not driving you today." And I'm not prepared to handle this level of disappointment. It wasn't gonna happen. So what I did was, in my uniform, I went over to the neighbor's house, and I rang the doorbell, and the neighbor's mom was home, and I said, "Hey, I'm in a spot. I got to get to my game. Can you give me a ride?" And I talked her into it, and I actually had a really strong performance at that game. I was awarded a star, which was sewn onto my jersey for my performance in that game. I got a ride home. The moral of the story in this essay that I wrote was that my mom's like an alcoholic, and something or other, I was just like, and I want to come to the University of Miami to really make something of myself, something or other. The irony being that I was already an active alcoholic, and that when I got to the University of Miami, I would be so intoxicated and in so much trouble in such a short time that I would not last for long. Yeah. So, I fucked up.
When did you see Steve's alcoholism kick in? Did you know that he had a problem with drugs and alcohol?
Dad's answer to every question is, "Well, I wasn't in the country. I heard about it."
No. I think it became apparent to me in Toronto.
When I was in 7th grade.
You found a...
I stole a bottle of wine.
Yeah. And you got wasted and you puked all over the place. And your mom was there to sort of be the first responder. And when I got home, that's when I was really worried, because concurrent with that, you had a little pup tent or something. And
I ran away from home.
You ran about the equivalent of half a dozen city blocks from home and pitched your tent in a little ravine behind the house. But
I made it further than that. I made it I did take one bus and get off.
No, I don't think it was a bus.
Get on a second bus, because that's what I did every morning to get to school. And I walked through this.
Okay, I thought you were closer. And anyway, I
told my sister my plans. I said, I'm going to run away. I'm going to live in this ravine. And I set up my tent. I was in the tent, having run away. Now, mind you, I ran away with no money, with no food.
Why'd you run away?
Because you got in trouble for the bottle of wine?
God knows. No, I didn't run away because I was in trouble for the wine. I had nothing to complain about.
That's when I started to worry.
Right.
And then London came after that. And somehow when you were with the skateboarding, things improved. I kind of breathed a sigh of relief and thought we were out of the woods. And clearly we weren't.
Right.
So when did you realize you were in the woods still?
Maybe when my report card came back from the University of Miami and I achieved over the course of a whole semester a cumulative GPA of 0.79.
Yeah, what was it, Ted?
I said I looked for the silver lining, and there was a good side of that. you flamed out so fast. I didn't
wasn't
piss
too
away a
big.
lot of money on useless education.
Right. You're
funny.
gonna blow it quick. So
Yeah,
that,
blow it quick. Let's make that only 1 year of tuition.
You know, it's obviously sad, and lest the wrong impression is being created. We can talk about this now and laugh
Sure.
because it's behind us, and you've turned out fantastically well. But when I look back, I don't think I realized how scary it was.
Yeah.
And it's certainly, I don't want to convey the wrong impression by laughing about it now.
Right. I mean, we had a real, pretty heavy talk. I remember, I think it was the night that the re-election of George W. Bush was unfolding in 2004. And we were talking about how, when I dropped out of the University of Miami, I had zero communication with you for a full 6 months. You did not know where I was in the world.
That's correct.
You heard nothing about me. You didn't know if I was alive, if I was safe. And in fact, I was having the government test dangerous drugs on me for money, and you didn't know that or anything. And I said to you about that whole period of time where I was off the radar that. I said something like, I said, Dad, you weren't going to pay me to be a piece of shit that wasn't doing anything that you approved of. And you said, you didn't give me the opportunity, which is pretty heavy. Almost suggesting that you would have helped me out if I reached out, but I had too much pride to reach out.
And you know what? You're right. I would have. And with hindsight, I value the pride, and helping you out would have been enabling that trend.
100%. It's like I have a philosophy about parents who help out their kids financially too much. It's very much like if you break a bone, you got to have a cast on that bone while it heals. Like a kid it needs help, like in order to become an adult. But much like if the bone is healed and you leave that cast on, then you don't need the cast because the bone is healed, and by having the cast on, your muscles atrophy, they become weak, they become useless, and ultimately you're in a much worse position. And so many parents view helping out their kids financially as like some kind of a positive thing, when in fact it's very much just leaving that cast on, and it's you got a lame duck kid that never learns how to fend for themselves.
I guess it was after that time. You were back in London. I think it was Connecticut. No, it was just a sec, getting the years straight. Florida, and you were staying with your mom, and I'll never forget.
She kicked me out on Christmas morning.
She kicked you out on Christmas morning.
Something like that, yeah.
I've always respected her for that, and to this day, I know I wouldn't have had the strength of character to do that.
Yeah, it's tough, man.
What'd you do on Christmas morning?
I did something.
He came up. We had an apartment in Tequesta, and you came up, and at that time, everything was closed down on Christmas Day. I don't know what plan had existed before you showed up, but I remember we went to an IHOP to celebrate the Christmas meal, and I think I forget what you stayed with us for a while, and I forget what happened after that.
I mean, Mom kicked me out like a number of times.
How old are you at this point?
At that time, I would have been 20 into 21.
Oh,
and
okay.
It was just like, look, you're not willing to get a job. You're fucking making a mess. You're acting like an asshole. You say you're going to do something, you don't do it. Like, I've had enough. Get the fuck out. And I totally deserved it. And I always, ended up on someone's sofa or something.
How old would your mom been at that point in time?
If I was 20, 21, this was in...
Your age now?
I'm not that quick on...
What year was that?
That would have been 1994, 95.
Like 40 or 50?
When was she born?
Or how old was she when Steve was born?
I mean, I don't know. Let's not waste our valuable...
But probably
listeners'
close to
time.
your age right now. In
I
your
was just
40s.
curious, like, can you
Probably
imagine...
closer to... I mean, I know that she was, 15 was she 50 when?
She turned 40 when we were in Toronto, so she would have been late 40s.
Cool.
Right.
So basically your age.
Just think, like, could you imagine being in that position now, telling a 21-year-old kid to get the fuck out of your like your own kid? You know.
I mean, hey, if you baby them, you bury them. You know, and I probably sympathize with my dad because, you know, as we were talking about, I went ahead and got a vasectomy because I just don't even, like, I couldn't stand to have a kid. And, you know, I liken it to having, you know, one's heart outside of their body, like, vulnerable. And it's like, it's just...
Scary.
I think that I have such a profound respect for the idea of creating a human being that I can't bring myself to do it.
Real quick, I'm just curious to know what kind of person you were. Like, when you get kicked out, were you like, why? Or were you just like, all right, fine, fuck?
I was like, yep, touche.
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think...
you never fought it?
I never held it against her. I wasn't doing anything to deserve the roof over my head, and I was an insult to her generosity.
It's cool that you... No, go ahead, Ted.
One of the ways that you really screwed me up, you never missed an opportunity to remind me about how much time I spent traveling and wasn't there during your growing up years. And you never appreciated that I really busted my ass to get home every weekend. I mean, there were times when I'd fly down to Rio and spend a night in the airplane and, you know, 2 days there and then fly back in the airplane and go to the office on Friday and be home on the weekend. And you know, I understand from your perspective that I was away a lot.
Hey, I was never mad about it.
You never bet, but it was always a dig.
All right.
And it created a bit of a complex that made me more vulnerable to exploitive enablement.
Okay. All right. I mean,
so you probably wouldn't have thrown Steve out because there would almost be this like guilt with it. You're like, oh, you know.
I wouldn't have thrown Steve out anyway. I don't think.
Right.
But I think I behaved somewhat differently in the latter period, you know, as a result of these frequent reminders that I'd kind of been a shitty parent because I was away so much.
I mean, you. What are you gonna do? You were a boss.
Hey,
you were a boss. You were a baller. You were killing it, and that required world travel on a very regular basis. And to your point about making it home on the weekends, to me that's just pure comedy because because the reality was that when Dad wasn't home, my mom really did her best to squeeze her drinking in while you were gone and pull it together for when you got home. So not only were you gone, but Mom was drunk, and I just was a lawless little kid with zero supervision.
Okay.
And then when you did come home on the weekend, recognizing that you had been gone, you would try to overcompensate by being really disciplinarian on the weekend. And so it was just such a completely inconsistent thing. You can't have like free reign during the week and be like really laced up on the weekend. That level of inconsistency is just absolutely futile.
Okay, but moving on to sunshine and happiness.
Dude, Dad, I'm not mad.
No, but moving on to sunshine and happiness, you've turned out well. You've got a great career. You're smart, articulate, motivated, driven, hardworking. I mean, son of a bitch. If you evaluate the results rather than the route it took to get there.
Well, thank you for all those kind words. Also, you know, going back to the vasectomy, I remember the first time that I ever told you. I remember it was like Jackass was pretty early on. I think it would have been maybe 2003. The first movie had come out. Now it's like, wow, we're this big, like this #1 movie. Wow, and I'm just thinking, what are big, huge ideas? And I said to Dad one day, I said, Dad, I got this great idea. It's called the Vasectomy Olympics. You know, it's like I'll get a vasectomy and I'll go running through like a crazy obstacle course and it'll be great. And Dad, like, you're not a particularly emotional guy. You're very logical, you know, like, and that was one time you got fairly emotional. You said, oh, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
I don't remember. I think the vasectomy Olympics came in a lot later when you implemented in Puerto Rico. I remember.
I ended up doing it almost 20 years later.
Yeah, but I don't remember that that title. I just remember having a
it was the
discussion.
vasectomy Olympics from day one. And I said,
Well, maybe you
Dad,
thought it, but I didn't.
I said, Dad, it's great. If you're the only person who enters a competition, you automatically win.
Can't argue with that logic, you know.
You know.
But so you were hoping for grandchildren from Steve.
Dad was, and
No,
not selfishly.
no. I've just have said that Steve and his sister, frankly, have enriched my life, and I thought not having kids, he'd be missing out on something.
Right. And to that, I always said, Dad, I hear you, but you got kind of fucking lucky. I mean, you were so close to that worst thing that can ever happen to a human being, which is a parent losing a child.
I didn't realize how close that came until
Right.
after
I mean,
the fact.
and who knows? Maybe you were close or not. But like, you danced with a lot of heartache and a lot of like catastrophic tragedy
Yep.
that I'm not willing to roll the dice.
I understand
on.
that.
I'm not willing to roll the dice on that. And
What's crazy? What's crazy is like you're used to weed and alcohol and maybe cocaine, like not, but like hearing people do drugs, and then when you hear Steve's like drug breakdown, you're like ketamine, like he's doing horse tranquilizer. Like
Dad
what
was
is
never
that?
used to cocaine. I think it's probably safe to say Dad's never laid eyes on cocaine in his life.
I don't mean to say that, but like the norm of drugs, you know, you've heard about cocaine.
Dad
You've heard
But
about
I was not into that.
No. To be clear, I'm not saying that you were. I'm
Okay.
sorry. Like I'm just saying, like you've heard about people doing it in the movies, but like when you hear of Steve's drug breakdown,
Dad actually was with me, brought me to the rehab to check me in, and was sitting there in the room when they did their orientation process to the intake, and they said, okay, what are your drug history? What are your drugs? And Dad, for the first time, was hearing this list of drugs, and there was like shit he never even heard of in his life.
what do you remember? What the drug breakdown was?
I mean, it would have been like PCP, nitrous oxide, ketamine, you know, like video head cleaner, like, you know, what the fuck, like it was, you know, I mean, if you want to know.
You remember that?
Yeah, vividly. And you're skipping over what I think was one of the toughest, but one of the best decisions in my life. You were having your final breakdown,
Right,
and you were sending emails to half the world talking about how you were going to drive a motorbike through your apartment
The
window
rat
and
email
Right.
list.
And everybody knows that, but what they don't know is that when Knoxville organized my intervention, he reached out to you and he said, Mr. Glover, we're organizing an intervention for your son, and we really want you to be there, maybe need you to be there. And Dad said...
I said no. And I thought really hard about it. And with hindsight, I was absolutely right. Steve and I had a good relationship then, with one exception. He wouldn't allow me to talk about his personal life. And I knew
I mean,
about the drinking and all that shit.
I would not let you. Our relationship was on my terms.
Yes,
because
yes.
I wasn't financially dependent on you. Like I could have ostensibly just cut you out of my life and been fine.
Yeah. So I reasoned, I think, correctly, that if I'd been there, you and I would have been in the center of the room shouting at each other, and all your jackass buddies would have been neutralized in dead silence. So I told Knoxville, and Dr. Drew called me too, and I said the same thing to Drew. I said, I'm going to come out, but I'm not going to come for the intervention, because his jackass friends will do a much better job without me than they could possibly do with me.
Yeah, and I think that was absolutely right. And so then they locked her up in the psych ward, and then I agreed in the psych ward to go to the rehab, and you were with me at the rehab.
Absolutely.
And while we're checking into the rehab, Dad says to me, you know, once we get this behind us, you know, like once, you know, you do this, and I said, Dad, it's never going to get behind us, you know. I said, once we fix this, Dad, this doesn't get fixed. I said, Dad, I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. That's never gonna change. It's gonna be for the rest of my life. And the fact that you were married to Mom for 25 years and you still don't understand that is fucking, you know, like I all of a sudden, like that was day one of rehab, and
just because you knew, like,
I knew
even
it.
Staying sober, it's just a lifelong struggle.
I
you
knew
were
all
up for.
about it, and my experience with my mom.
Yeah.
And I said, Dad, I'm here because I'm going to take this really seriously, and if you're gonna if you're gonna not get in the way of it, I need you to sign up to be a part of Al-Anon and stuff. So Dad signs up for Al-Anon.
I went to regular Al-Anon meetings in both London and Florida for at least a year.
Yeah, and then Dad says to me, he says, I don't get it. He says, all these people in these meetings, like, they seem to be there for their own benefit, and I'm fine. Like, I don't need any help. I'm just here to support you. And I said, okay, Dad, next time why don't you just hand me a beer and a joint and call it a
No,
day?
no. I got one thing out of Al-Anon that I'll never forget. It was in Florida, and there was a woman who was probably in her 60s, and her husband, I'm not sure if he was in recovery or if he was still struggling. But she said something I'll never forget. She said, if you're living with somebody who is mentally ill, you cannot avoid becoming mentally ill yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And boy, that resonated with me.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
And of course, everything worked out. So far, so good. One day at a time, and we're in a great place. But I want to just go back to where I flunked out of the University of Miami. You don't hear from me for 6 months, and then when I do show back up on the radar, I'm homeless. Sometimes at Mom's house. Sometimes she's kicking me out. And my whole story is I'm gonna become a crazy famous stunt man. It's gonna be awesome. And you tried to talk me out of it by
I remember I was in London, and the BBC had a cinema film museum or archive or something. I spent probably a couple of hours there reading about stuntmen and technology, and got copies of a bunch of articles that said very clearly that in the foreseeable future there weren't going to be any stuntmen because camera technology would make them obsolete.
right.
And so
CGI.
I very proudly shipped all these clippings off to you, and that was before internet, so it went by snail mail. And we hooked up on the phone a week or so after the fact, and I said, hey, did you read the stuff I sent? I mean, this is really good stuff. I mean, you got to think ahead.
Yeah, you need a new plan because stuntman isn't a thing.
And your answer was, okay, I'll just recruit a bunch of crazy guys and have a traveling circus doing stunts, and people will pay to see us around the country.
And Dad likes to say that that's sort of what happened, but
it is sort of what happened, right? I mean, you did a tour, you and...
I ended up doing that. Yeah, for sure. But so Dad was not supportive of my initial, pursuit of fame and fortune to be a stuntman because...
Sorry, was that mostly because you thought there is no success in that, or was it that that's not admirable, that's dangerous?
No. It was the former. I mean, everything was so fucked up. I was thinking short term then, and it seemed to me the most compelling rationale was that, hey, this is something that doesn't have any future. You're the one that's going to suffer, so rethink it.
Right.
Got you.
Yeah, and I was homeless for still more years. I wasn't getting anywhere, but I was filming what I could when I had a camera. A lot of times I had to borrow a camera, but I was filming what I could. Nobody cared. And then I ended up getting into clown college. And Dad wasn't even behind the clown college thing, really. You weren't maybe aggressively against it, but you were like, well, great, now my son's a fucking clown. You weren't in love with it. You weren't in love with it, and you weren't in love with the whole stunt thing. But, and this is really important, and this is going to really be what all of this culminates in, because it's so special to me, which is that before I got anywhere with all of that stunt talk and all of everything that I wanted to do, even though Dad wasn't supportive in the beginning, it was before I had accomplished shit, before I had any recognition, and before I had made any money. Dad took his own initiative to have a conversation with me where he said, hey man, I gotta you remember what you said?
Yeah. And from experience, I came from a family of academics, and I was the only one that went into business, and completely different, apples to oranges. But I remember my father saying to me, I really don't care, Ted, what you do, as long as you find something you enjoy and you do it to the best of your ability. And those were about the same words I used
Right.
with you.
You made
And
reference to that
Yeah.
talk that you had. You said, hey, I remember it like this. You said, hey, I want to acknowledge, I want to tell you that I feel I've really done a disservice to you by discouraging you in this path, that you've clearly committed yourself to and showed. He says you haven't. You certainly didn't choose for yourself a path that I would have chosen for you. But now that you're clearly committed to it, I want you to know that you have my, I pledge to support you. And I just want you to be happy and be the best at what you do. And he said that your dad had a very similar conversation. So Dad pledged to support me in my pursuit to become a stuntman before there was any glimmer of hope. And that put wind in my sails. And then at the time there was this show called Real TV where they were looking to license home video footage of notable things happening. And it was Real TV caught on camera. And I saw the commercial and it said, Real TV, if you have any footage that you think we might want to see, like here's the number, call us up, send it on in. And I called them up and I said, oh, I don't have footage that you might want to see. I have footage that you need badly. You're hurting for what I got. And sure enough, I sent them the tape, and they sent me back this. They called me back. Yeah, we love the you on fire, doing the flip, breathing the fire off the roof of the building. And I was like, I remember being indignant. And so, is that all you want? Out of everything I see, you want that one thing? And they said, yeah, we'll give you. Was $500 for exclusive license of it. What's exclusive? That means what? That means
Exclusive rights.
Exclusive rights, yeah. We own it. You don't own it anymore.
Right.
I said, I don't know if I love that. And I called Dad. The first contract I ever had to negotiate on any level, and Dad was my first call. I said, Dad, you remember that call, huh?
Yep.
Were you at work when he called you?
Dad had retired, I think, by that time.
I think I wasn't at work. I think I had, or I was working part-time as a consultant. But
And what'd he say?
Well, I was all, Dad, this is exclusive. And Dad said, hey, take a breath, calm down. This sounds like this exclusivity is a deal breaker for you. Or it sounds like you don't like the exclusive. He says, it's really simple. You figure out at which point it's a deal breaker. You figure out what you're comfortable with. You draw your line in the sand, and you stick to it. You tell him, he says, why don't you tell him you don't want to give him exclusive rights, that you'll license it non-exclusively so you still own it, and that you need $1,000 instead of $500. It's that simple. So I told him that was what I wanted, and that's what I got.
Nice.
And given that I had Dad in my corner, I can't believe I didn't get better jackass contracts along the way.
well, before you say that, I think we worked that out because you got paid next to nothing for the first thing, and that's
right.
I've
Paying your
learned
dues.
is paying your dues in Hollywood. But I remember reviewing your first Paramount contract.
It would have been an MTV
MTV,
one.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
And they had language in there that would have prevented you from doing anything except Jackass.
Right.
And at that point, you weren't wildly successful yet, but you were making modest income from your videos.
Personal
and you had
appearances.
that crazy spring tour stuff
Yeah.
where all you did was get drunk and swear on the stage and everybody loved you. But you were making some money.
Right.
And so
And
I
I
said,
wouldn't have been allowed to do that.
so yeah, you wouldn't have been allowed to do any of that. So I said, hey, get rid of that language. And I'm proud of you because, we got rid of that language. You had a clean contract that let you do the other things. And I just wonder how many first-time ever wannabes that are given an opportunity to sign up with MTV go back to the corporate lawyers and say, fuck this, you got to remove this language or I won't sign.
Right. I mean, who knows? Like,
Do you remember doing that? Where you're like, I don't want to take that out. What if they don't use me for the movie?
Was that the movie or that was the TV
that would have
series?
been the TV series.
Yeah.
So even you're like, here's my chance. I have this contract.
Right.
Yeah,
if
were
I
you
stand up
nervous
for
to
myself, am
counter?
I going to fuck myself, or what's like the principle there?
I mean, I think that Dad gave me confidence to do things like that. And that's what's so special is that from the beginning, from the very first contract I ever had, Dad pledged to support me, and fucking A, he did. And this is something that I've said many times, and I just feel myself getting choked up every time I say it, and particularly now. But it gives me such gratitude. It gives me such just intense, just gratitude to be able to say that I have what's your relationship with your dad? Like people might ask, I have a great relationship with my dad, and I don't have a great relationship with my dad because I'm successful. I am successful because I have a great relationship with my dad, and that's a big ass distinction. I think there are a lot of people who are successful